Okay, guys, so it's class 5, and we're still exploring more options of AWS EC2 instances or virtual machines of AWS. So we had been going through some topics. First of all, I just go through the slides for the one. EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud. So yeah, we're going to be exploring more features, and we were talking about uh, which region we need to connect. So yeah, North Virginia is our choice. Security group, we talked about that. Very important, and we opened some ports there and source as well, and which region to connect. Again, this diagram. Talked about EC2 storage as well in previous class, and then SLA. We talked about that. Service level agreement, the significance of 6 nines, 5 nines, 4 nines, 3 nines, and then the SSD volume to choose and why, which one to choose and why. Also, yeah, so then talk about throughput and IOPS. And spot instances, it saves money, but there's a catch. They can delete your, instances anytime, or you pay a bit more. It may not be deleted. How to connect to AWS EC2 instance. Then we try to connect to the instance. We're going to be creating a EC2 instance today as well, obviously, because we need to explore more features. EC2 instance, created the instance. Yeah, discussed all the features of an instance creation process, created and attached second NIC and second volume. We will be exploring all the features here. So that is that next class. Also, I put some more diagrams here. So let's carry on then with more of the EC2 features. And creating an EC2 instance and connect to it should not be a big deal. I'll just go ahead and still go ahead and create that. And last time, I forgot to record the version of the EC2 instance, so I'll be recording here this video because we still need an EC2 instance. So I'm just going to connect now to AWS with my account. Next, and password saved. MFA should be working. No code. Is MFA code? And it's still in the air. And get the MFA code. I'll go back here again. And root user and root user password. Okay, so I'm expecting MFA now. Oh, sorry, your sound is not clear.
No, you have to check the authenticated app.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So other class I was just, and everywhere else, Microsoft. It's
Yeah.
I am expecting a code. Thank you for reminding that. What is wrong with me?
Can you start recording?
Yeah, thank you for that reminder, and I would always appreciate if it is reminded. So yes, it's started. Google Authenticator, yeah. Well, how could I totally forget that I was using Google Authenticator? Otherwise, I was always looking for a code. In my job, it's all Microsoft and some AWS, and it's always MFA with the text. So, and then in the other course, Azure Security, it's also MFA with text. Okay. So, all right, guys. So we're inside, and we're connected to North Virginia, and our favorite place will be the billing dashboard, first of all. And if I click inside, Number of active services 8. Yeah, I used 8 services. Okay, I'm gonna go to view your bill, and 0 is our biggest hero. Okay, there you go. So it's still 0. So far so good. But we're gonna get nasty in terms of labs, and still, yeah, we're gonna try to stick to the rules as well. That just delete the thing once it is done. Now I'm gonna go to the EC2, so it's at the services as well. Here EC2, or as we clicked this favorite the star, so we can click from here as well. We click EC2, and we go ahead. Okay, so we had to go to different places to delete what we had created, and that's how careful we have to be always. One more thing is that we have to be very, very careful about the word default. Whenever you see the word default, this means it's created by AWS for you. So we don't delete anything that says the word default, anything. So right now it's default VPC. VPC is the virtual private cloud, or this is the area where we create everything or anything. So they have created the default VPC, and the strange thing is that AWS, we can even delete what in the VPC in which we are working. We can even delete that. So in Microsoft Azure, we cannot delete that VNet. It's called VNet in Microsoft Azure. It is called VPC here in AWS. So they are both arch rivals or arc rivals. Okay, so here when we see 0 instances, so 000 here is our hero as well. Oh, in terms of security groups, there's one, but maybe it's the default one. So I'm just gonna click that security group just to check. There's one number here instead of 0. So why is that? Click that. So oh, there's our default here.
Samir
So
bhai,
I am not touching this. Yep.
can you do the full like a one lab, complete lab from zero to end, like one lab? Like
Uh,
in do it
s- huh?
20 minutes you do, one lab, complete lab.
So last time I was doing one complete lab. It's always
It
different labs
was
here. We are exploring features, right? So
like add a network card and add a disk, this part I don't get it.
add a network card and disk. So yeah, I'm gonna create another instance, EC2 instance to explore extra features now.
Yeah. So add
So I'm
all
gonna be creating that.
the
Hmm?
previous one and this one, like disk, network card, security groups, other features in
Mm,
one complete lab, and make it
strategy.
like 2T micro, 2T micro web server is okay,
Yeah, it's T2. So,
Mm.
but 2T can also be a nickname for that. It's interesting. But okay, so repeating the previous lab in next class is kind of then we won't be able to go ahead, right? So, but I'm gonna still create a EC2 instance, but I have to move to lots of other options, and there are pretty much lots of topics here to cover. So, hey, I will
Like
be redoing that,
like
but I
you
understand
can
what you're
add
saying.
like 10 topics in one EC2 instance.
And what?
One EC2 instance, when we create a launch instance, so we can
Yes.
add so many features like spot instances and yeah, the elastic
Yeah.
IP.
Okay, so if your spot instances we can do, but the thing is that they can delete it. So some of the things we can do, some of the things we cannot do, right? There are
Yeah.
many other features that we discussed that are suppose there's a underlying hardware that is also expensive. We cannot purchase that, right? So, but we have to understand that some of the things we have to understand, and whatever is doable and not expensive, it's not gonna charge right away. That's what I'm doing here. But others,
No,
I
I
will
mean
say
T2 micro, for T2
yeah, in the
micro.
G2 micro. But sure, I will try to do whatever is possible, and whatever is not possible, then or whatever is not really that important, I'll try to do. Okay, it's going like very long discussion. So we can discuss before the class or after the class as well, right? So let me get started with, because there's so much to cover. I mean, so I can't repeat everything. And okay, anyway, let's discuss that after the class. Again, there's a previous class. There's a very long discussion going on. So okay, guys, I'm just gonna go back here to EC2 dashboard, launch instance. Let's click that. So I have to create another EC2 instance, obviously, just to explore all the features. But because it was not recorded last time, and because Rosa is also suggesting, so whatever I can add here from last time, I'll add that, so it will be in this video as well. So what we say is this. Welcome. Here, yeah, we selected Windows, and now I don't have to go really in depth with every feature, because we had discussed that before, and thankfully you attended the class, so at least you got the idea. So other than that, T2 micro, dot micro is the instance type, firewall. It should have security group here. That should let us 3389 port should be open, right, for Windows. So I'm just going to click that firewall. It takes us on the left side to the firewall, and we're in the default VPC, default subnet, so we don't need anything that has the word default. One student, or sometimes students do, when they're doing the lab, by mistake, they delete the default as well. It gets deleted after that. What happens? Suppose you did delete the VPC that was default in the VPC lab, maybe doing networking lab as well. So if anything default gets deleted, you cannot recreate it. That's one thing. Second thing, you have to talk to the support. The support will recreate that default VPC inside which we are creating everything. They will create that default VPC for you. So yep, this is also a training of us being very, very careful of whatever has the word default here, right? Okay, sometimes I rename it do not touch, so we would know right away. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep reminding in every class, whatever is default, do not delete. Okay, so firewall, and there's the new security group, and yes, we're gonna create a new security group. Its name is Launch Wizard 1. There is an edit button here as well. First, we click this, and then we click the edit button here, and then so there's the default VPC subnet. Okay, no preference, or we go in an organized way with 1A availability zone 1A, right? So all availability zones are exactly the same, but just for organization purpose, I'm just selecting this 1A. Right? So other than that, where it went to? I think yeah, there it is. Okay, so subnet is this, and auto, so it's 1A. I am just making, yeah, this is 1A. And auto assign public IP, yes, we're giving public IP. Then last time I named it Launch Wizard, my first name. So if it's my first name, obviously I know that I can delete it. Launch Wizard 1, 3389 port, allow. 3389 port, which is RTP. So we're good. And then we went for yeah, so this is just a description. In the description, it actually tells you the exact time when we created that. So other than this, I'll just put the same name here, copy, Control C, select, Control V. Okay. And security group. So what are we allowing? What type of traffic? It's RDP traffic that is already selected actually for us, because we selected the Windows image. That's why. But we went for the secure option, which was my IP. Now this IP is changed. It was not this IP before when we did that last time. And description, you can just put RDP connecting to Windows or EC2, right? So, or you can just put anything you want. Add security group rule. So yeah, this is the rule that we have added. And advanced network configuration, if we go there, so network interface 1, was there, right? And this was this is going to be created. It hasn't been created yet. And then we're also we don't need secondary IP. There's a add network interface here as well, right? So this is during the creation we can add another network interface. So if I click the add button, so this would be network interface 2, right? And you can see the index number here. This is network interface 1, device index 0, and then network interface 2, device index 1. So that's just how it starts. Network card starts with 0 1 2 3 4, and this is also going to be a new network interface. And I can just put a description here, second NIC. In fact, I can go up there and put it as first NIC. Sometimes this also plays that, suppose this first NIC is internal and second NIC is external or internet. So you can just put any name, any kind of name according to whatever configuration you have done. So first NIC, second NIC. Also, there's a KISS rule there, KIS, which is keep simple. I don't want to add the next S because yeah, that's okay. So yeah, second NIC here. Once we've added, we're not going for IPv6. We are still sticking to IPv4. We're not going for secondary IP. Okay. Cross-LAN IP can only be assigned to instances with one network interface. That's the reason. So remember, guys, last time when I added the second NIC after creating the machine, so it took away my public IP. So it says that if you have only one network card, then I'm going to give you automatically an IP. Either disable auto-assign IP or remove a network interface. So they're saying that both cannot be true. If you have two network interface cards, I'm not giving you a public IP automatically. So even suppose we do need two network interface cards, right? So obviously last time what we did was we went for elastic IP. So I'm going to be creating that elastic IP as well. So I'm just going to put that in diagram quickly, but I'm not going to be really staying a lot long here. So this is the EC2 instance that we are creating. And inside the EC2 instance, we are going for this samosa shape thing is a network card 1, and this is the network card 2. Not only that, but we're going to be going for, so this is going to make a NIC team. Suppose we plan to make it a NIC team. We're going to go for 2 disks as well. So this is NIC 1, and this is, okay, this is NIC 2, and this is NIC 1, and this is EBS 1, elastic block storage or virtual disk, and this would be EBS 2. So we stick to the terminology. That's what we intend to do. One is the OS EBS or disk, and the second is the, right? So that's how you can also create that. So that's what we are going to do, but we're planning to add elastic IP later that can be reassigned. So it is purchased. It can be reassigned to same or other NIC, right? So dash all right. Okay. So we're
First,
gonna be
I
purchasing elastic
plus
IP. Yeah.
elastic IP is free. You said that.
Exactly. First elastic IP would be free. After that, it would be purchased. So you're right. Exactly. That's a good point. Thank you for reminding that. And first one is free, right? Second onwards are purchased or paid. Okay. Okay. Paid. PR. Oh, come on. So thank you for that reminder. Now we're gonna go that way because suppose we do need NIC teaming, and in EC2 instances scenario, you do need a powerful combination of minimum 2 network cards, 3 or 4 or 5. You can add as many, but then you have to go for elastic IP as well, right? Okay. So once we are doing that, we're going for NIC 1 and 2. Now, this is something that they not used to do this, but now they're doing that. Now I'm not going to have an IP even after the creation of a machine until I get one elastic IP and then attach it or associate with a first NIC, right? Then I would be able to create a virtual machine. And second thing is, you can see here number of instances. There, last time we created one instance, so we're gonna change that to how about if we want to create two instances? Then what? There's another lab that is going to be coming soon, or today we're gonna do that, and that is EC2 autoscaling. So this lab is also coming where uh, automatically there will be more instances created once it sees that there's more traffic. But anyway, when that topic comes, we're gonna come. So right now, two interface selected, but then we don't get an auto assign IP. So we're gonna be going for elastic IP. A good thing to keep in mind. Also, if we go to storage here, and if I click that, so that's the next one. We already know that there's a general purpose storage. GP2 by default is selected, then IO provisioned SSD. So these are for more speeds and IO intensive, input output intensive, especially read intensive, and the other ones are general purpose, bit more speed. But then there are pretty slow ones as well for backups and archives, cold HDD, throughput optimized HDD, still HDD, and magnetic, totally slow. Right? And root volume is never encrypted. I have uploaded some exam questions on my YouTube channel as well for AWS. And also interview questions I'll be uploading there as well. But here, okay, so we're talking about volume.
Sir, we can make 15 GB for this because we are creating two instance. So we can make one 15 GB, another one is 15 GB.
So it is for one disk, it goes 30, right? The second disk we can still add. Last time what I did was it was still 30, but I still was able to add 8 GB more, right? And it didn't say, oh, you only get 30 total. Just for that one disk, it is 30. We're gonna know now because I'm gonna click that add new volume and it goes automatically to 8. Although it says free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 of GB of EBS general purpose SSD or magnetic storage. And last time I went for actually magnetic. So the second disk is something that I don't want to experiment on with general purpose, which is SSD or super slow. Why did I say super slow? A solid state drive. Yeah. So used to saying
Excuse me.
super slow.
So first 30 GB and 8 GB is the standard, like
Standard is one disk. You
total
want
is
to add
30
more?
GB,
Yeah.
total is 30 GB or 30 and 8 you can take.
So total is for free tier first disk. We can go total of 30 GB first disk. Right? We can make it less as well. But first disk, if I keep it to full here, then second disk is something that we can go for any other size. But first one, more than 30, it will say no. First disk or operating system disk cannot be more
So
than 30.
like for second one, so we need 60 GB.
Right. No, I'm putting 8, but in a commercial environment, in a production environment, yes, I would go for 1 terabyte here because then we are paying for it.
Yeah.
But here, I just want to keep it low because we're just doing a training.
But we are making two instance. So why we are taking 30 GB instead of 30? We can take like 10 GB, 10 GB, and 8 GB of
Yeah, we are
EBS
making two
volume.
instances, so both instances will have 30 and 8. Just wanted to show
Oh,
you two disks that we created last time, but I could not record it. Now I'm just doing another thing here, which we did not do last time. That can we create two instances? Also, I wanted to show one more thing. Will the key pair? Suppose I put here instead of two, which I hope I'm definitely not going to do that. Suppose I go for 200 virtual machines at the same time in one go. That
oh,
key pair, will it work for all 200, just one key pair or not? So yes, for all 200, one key pair will work. So just like if it works for 2, it will work for 2,000 to 100,000, whatever the number is.
so
So
for
for the key
two,
pair also, I wanted to explain this. Yeah, you were saying?
I mean, for two virtual machine. So we take 60 GB and we take 16 GB of from
Yes, exactly.
standard,
Total,
and there is no
exactly.
charge.
Uh, uh, till 30, there is no charge.
So
So for
for
this one,
safe side,
yeah.
why don't we fix like 10 GB here, 10 and 8, 18?
Okay, yeah, because it doesn't hurt, so I'll just go for 15. It still is total 30 now.
Okay.
Right? For instance, we have now total 30, and okay, so let's go ahead. And we added a volume as well, but adding a volume does not really have any issues. It's just the two network cards that now we are facing the issue of that we need to get the IP address ourselves, Elastic IP. Okay, advanced details. Last time we went there, so there were lots of details here. You want to join the domain? Yes, you can. We're gonna do it later. Uh, what? This is another lab that is really coming today, right? So why should I create um, another? Okay, yeah. Sorry. I was thinking of creating a domain, but then I have to explain everything about the domain and then start. Why don't we just create the instance first and then I'm gonna explain this next domain as well. Okay, right now we're just concentrating on instances. Okay, so domain is just a central network with authentication and authorization given by Active Directory in AWS. So that's pretty a cool thing. I'll be explaining the whole scenario in with diagram when we go to the domain topic. But right now we're not having any domain, so we cannot select anything. I am instance profile. If you have already pre-configured configurations, then you can use that. We don't have any. Host name, IP name. Yes, IP will be in the name of the machine, but last time we did not go for resource name, right? We went for IP name. So what it does is it will name the machine with its IP address, right? It is kind of okay for us in the training environment that we should know that, oh, this is IP for this machine and the name also shows that. But if we go for resource name here, um, enable resource name, so then check that. So it still will give just a resource name. It will not include the IP then. It will still name it itself, right? Automatically. So last time I went for IP name. IP we will know anyway, right? Because we're going to be purchasing it and putting it there. Let it give the resource name for the two instances. Instance auto recovery, yeah, if you want to go for auto recovery, we talked in detail before as well. It just says that instance auto recovery recovers your instance if system status checks fail. By default, shared tenancy without local storage and GPUs are set to auto recover. So they're just saying that auto recovery is something that we offer, AWS offers by default. If it crashes, it can AWS can offer you some auto recovery options. Shutdown behavior, when you click stop, it should shut down. Terminate deletes the machine. Hibernate, again, stop behavior. When you click stop, you can select that should it hibernate or should it stop. So we stick to when we click the stop, it should just simply shut down, not save everything in. But it's up to you. You want to do that. The other thing that whatever windows you have opened, when you if you change it to enable, so when you click stop, it will save everything you were doing and then it will shut down. So in fact, that looks better, right? Last time we did not enable that. Now we're enabling, but then it says to enable hibernation, space is allocated on the root volume to store the instance memory RAM. Make sure that the root volume is large enough to store the RAM contents and accommodate your expected usage, e.g. OS and applications. To use hibernation, the root volume must be an encrypted EBS. Ouch. Okay. Our root volume is not encrypted. It just says that it's going to take some space. Obviously, if you have opened 20 windows there and 5 browser windows and some application windows, when you shut down and you come tomorrow, you want to see exactly the same windows opened, right? So then Hibernate is used, but then it takes a lot of RAM. It takes a lot of space as well. And second thing is it can only be enabled if the root volume is encrypted. Our root volume is not encrypted, so it's not going to work. So I'm not selecting it now. Termination protection, yeah, last time we did that, right? So then we knew how to, so I'm just going to enable that anyway, just for best practice. And when we are deleting at the end of the class, we're going to have to disable this termination protection. Stop protection. I cannot even stop the machine. It's protecting from stop. And last time, yeah, and one student was stuck because of that. So I'm not really protecting that from stopping here in cloud environment or in a training environment. Detailed CloudWatch, this is just a monitoring app which monitors more, but it charges you. Elastic GPU, if you are going for graphical processing unit related tasks like crypto mining and everything, then you can use that, but they're going to charge you more a little. Add elastic interference, it will offer you, suppose you have more traffic, you need more hardware, it's going to give you some acceleration, and it's going to charge you a little more for that. But it's going to give you some more hardware if you needed that, and more users will not see bad performance. Credit specification, we talked about that before as well, that it's available for selecting unlimited for the credit specification allows application to burst beyond the baseline for as long as needed at any time. So they're just saying that when we need more burst or when we need more power, give us and then charge us accordingly. And placement group is that cluster group in which to launch the instance supported on certain instance types only. Specifying an incompatible instance type will fail the instance launch. Learn more about compatible instance type. So compatible instance type just means that the same type of instance should be there. If you want to configure placement group, then you can start, restart, shut down the EC2 instances together as well and maintain them together. EBS optimized instance is disabled. It's not offered for this type of machine to .micro, right? Capacity reservation, I already mentioned that if you want for 1 year, suppose 32 GB RAM, 16 core processor, and other things for 1 year or 2 or 3 years. You can do a contract with AWS. AWS will tell you whether to allow or deny, whether they can provide you that kind of hardware 24/7 for 3 years. Suppose you ask 3 years. So they can, if they say yes, then they have to provide that all the time. If they are unable to provide that kind of capacity, then they will reimburse some of the money that you charge from you. You reserve the capacity or reserve some hardware for 1 year, 2, 3 years. Tenancy again, shared tenancy you want, dedicated tenancy you want, or dedicated host you want. So we talked about that in detail. So underlying hardware is shared with your machines and some other company's machine. You don't want that. You want actually underlying hardware to be just for you, and the whole tenancy should be not shared as well. So you can select that, but they're gonna charge you more for that. You're gonna get very good performance. RAM disk is just whatever. Suppose you ran out of RAM, you will use some portion of the disk as a RAM. So do you need more disk space for that purpose? So yeah, if there's RAM intensive applications you're going to be installing, then you can select some kind of more RAM disk value there. Oh, it's not even appearing, seriously. But anyway, what it is, we talked about that before as well. Kernel ID, we talked about that before as well. That available operating system kernels you can use with the instance. If no value is specified, the value of the source template will still be. So if you're updating the kernels and suppose you want a recovery point, or you want to get back to previous kernel which was intact, suppose, so then kernel ID is used in that case. So in most cases, administrators don't use that, but unless you're doing some firmware updates or regular updates, then you can actually safeguard older kernel ID as well in the OS. Nitro Enclave are not compatible with instances with 2 vCPUs. Our instance is very poor instance. In fact, T2.micro, right? I don't have 2 vCPUs. Actually, it's 2 vCPUs because each instance has 1 vCPU. Total are still 2 vCPUs, yes. So Nitro Enclave is a state execution environment in which you can securely process sensitive data. So yeah, again, you want to boot the machine, start the machine, keep your data in a secure environment. So then you can use the service, but it needs, if you have good underlying hardware, then only this is available. License configurations. If you have brought your own licenses, then you can just go for that. Otherwise, license manager, you can just keep the licenses and connect to this. Didn't bring any license. Metadata is just information about this machine. You can add extra tags and extra data here. That's what we talked about last time in the break. And
We
so
did
one
not
thing,
use the user data.
yeah, sorry.
User data.
So metadata is data about data, or it's if you enable that. So what kind of information, extra information are you putting for this? And then you can use that metadata to search this machine, or you can use this metadata to just simply identify this machine for something. So you can uh, put extra data about what is this machine for, what application inside is there, for whom this machine has been created. You can just put all that information here. Right?
Yeah, so
So
user data you don't copy and paste here.
yes. So any kind of enter custom user data into the field below. Suppose what kind of users are going to be using that. In fact, let me get an example for that. So specify user data to provide commands or a command script to run when you launch your instance. So this is also um, once this instance is launching, other than the tags that you can provide here, allow tags in metadata. So you can also put some commands. So suppose you put a script here that when the Windows machine is fully installed, that script would just change the logo or the background wallpaper of this machine to a company background. Also, it would fill up the IP addresses automatically of the network cards, or you want some folders to be created right away automatically with the script, so you can put all the scripts here for that. So this is just further automation. Maybe you want to add some printer drivers, but then it becomes a bit more complicated. You then have to give it the path of the drivers as well. But anyway, some configurations you want done automatically once the Windows starts first time, and you can put those commands and scripts here as well. The data for Windows, it has learned more here. If I click that, it opens the other window here, run commands on your Windows instance at launch. When you launch a Windows instance using Amazon EC2, you can pass user data to the instance that can be used to perform automated configuration tasks. Okay. So it does give then some examples here. Specify a batch script using script tag. Separate the command using the breaks, for example, echo current data and date and time. So what is the date and time you want there? You can put there. By default, user data scripts are run one time when you launch the instance. To run the user data scripts every time you reboot or start the instance, add persist to /persist. If you want some scripts to be run every time when you log into the Windows, then you do that. But then there are syntax for Windows PowerShell scripts. So that becomes really powerful and useful as well. If you want to do some extra tasks, like adding some kind of features there, or some kind of mapped drives there, so it gives a lot of that. So you can run any script, right? And with script you can configure pretty much anything. So I'm just gonna add there creation of EC2 instance. User data is used for adding scripts which can run when Windows logs Windows or Linux. It's not just Windows. Whichever operating system is there, you can put the scripts logs in for the first time. But those scripts will run, and whatever you configure, it will configure that. Since I'm putting this information here, so I'll just take a screenshot of the whole thing and put it there. That what are we talking about? Should be also shown here.
When we are creating in our labs, we must copy and paste the user data. They give us a user data. We
Yeah.
must, because yeah,
So
sometimes
like
the
if you
webs.
have it, yes, go ahead and put it. If you don't have it, then obviously it will still work.
Okay.
So it's not like you have to do it, but if you select here, then obviously you should put something. Otherwise, it's just extra help. It's going to really configure something that you would later configure yourself. It will just do it for you. So it's not compulsory, but yes, it's useful. O and K. I'm just gonna go way up, and yeah. So now we're ready for two network adapters, two disks here, one GP2 general purpose 2 and one magnetic, the slow one, and we are ready with RDP, but we will only be able to connect if we have elastic IP assigned to the first NIC, right? Okay, so this is the whole configuration, and
Key pair also is missing.
hmm?
Key pair.
No, that is when we go for launch instance. When I click that, then it will go for key pair. Oh, actually, no, it's not. This is also a very good reminder. Thank you for that as well. Otherwise, it won't let me go ahead if I don't create a key pair. Exactly. Thank you for that. Okay, key pair name required. So create new key pair. Do I have the old one? I deleted that, right? Okay, that's good. Create new key pair. I'm just going to click that and it will be so suppose whatever you want to put there, EC2 EC to EC2 instances dash key pair. Okay, dot pem is okay, and I'm going to click create key pair. And I really need to save it somewhere safe. I'm just gonna click the create key pair, and it has saved it somewhere down here. I'll just open that folder, and there's a key pair. Number two, EC2 Instance key pair. Okay. Uh, and then I'm gonna click the launch. Anything else remaining? Everything is okay, right? Oh, server name. So it's your first name dash VM01, but there are two machines, right? So it should automatically, put the something extra to the second machine just to differentiate the name. We're going to see that now. That's why I put two there. I'm going to click, okay, anything else? Close, then two, keep here, PC, firewall, two NICs, network interface one, network interface two, yeah, two disks.
Security group.
Security group we created, yeah, already. So this is this one. The security group name is this. RDP, my IP. Everything is supposed to be. I hope my IP does not change from ISP. Obviously, we don't know when they change, or we can know, but I don't know right now. But still, I just put my IP. Otherwise, I've got one for anywhere. Okay.
Can we save your IP? Your IP is there.
So my IP is this. What is my IP? That's 65, 94, 98, 48. So yeah, that it is safe here as well. All right, so that's it. I'm going to click launch instance. Oh, seriously, it says that where are you going? And auto sign IP can only be assigned instance. So is there any other error other than that? So it just takes me to that you cannot. This simply means then that you cannot really create. I'm just going to click the launch instance again now. and it says, "Whoa, where are you going, buddy?" Autosign IP can only be assigned to instances with one network interface. Either disable autosign IP. Oh yeah, I did not disable autosign IP because I insisted on two network cards. So auto assign IP should be here somewhere. Up, up above the word so high. What percent it was. Autosign IP was here, right? So interface card and net security group. So that's secondary. No. Delete on termination. Oh man, we didn't even select that. Delete on termination. Yes, I don't want to separately come here and delete it. Where is autosign IP? Also here, delete on termination. Yes. No, there are very, very small things that really has had to be checked.
What does it mean? I don't understand this red line.
This means that if you choose to have two network cards, then we are not automatically assigning you an IP address. If we don't have an IP address in this machine, then we cannot remotely connect to that machine, right? So they're saying that if you want two network cards, then just get an IP manually and add it to your first network card yourself, right? So we can add the second network card later as well, which is also something that is possible because I don't see AutoSign IP anywhere. What I'm going to do is I need to still move ahead, right? So I don't see AutoSign IP to be checked anywhere here. So I'm going to remove one network interface card. So we could go ahead and then we will add the second network interface card when we have created that, right? It's gonna, again, I'm just looking last time here. Autosign IP was is not here. Oh, I don't see that. I'm gonna check this. Oh, there you go. There you go. This was it. Autosign IP. All the time here. Okay, I disabled it. Now with two network cards, I should be able to create that machine. Launch instance. Yay! What? Okay, volume size of 15 GB smaller than snapshot. Expect size 30 GB. So it was insisting, okay, that you must give this 30 GB size to the uh, first disk. Edit instance config. I'm just gonna go back. Suppose something wrong gets selected. Okay, Terence says in the chat, don't you need to select delete on termination for disk as well? Exactly. Thank you, Terence, for that. I'm gonna also click edit instance config anyway. Also, and so that's a good reminder from Terence as well that I need to auto delete this disk, although it's not actually showing me. I'm going to stick to, I'm going to go back to this because obviously they're saying minimum 30 you need to have. Operating system takes like 12 GB, 12 to 13 GB, then some of the temporary files could really fill up the space right away. So minimum 30 GB is what it's recommending. So, okay, and what Terence reminded, I'm just going to click the advanced here. Why? Because then we can select that the EBS volumes should also be automatically deleted when the machine gets deleted, right? So I'm going to click advanced here. And okay, the first thing is volume 1 AMI root, yep, 30 GB, yes, SSD. Volume 2 is this, although I'm going to select this to expand this arrow. And snapshot, yeah, 30 GB, IOPS 100 to 3000. Delete on termination is already yes, but that's good. And it actually lets us create encrypted. So it was that advanced option, although after creation, Second disk is allowed, but the first disk is not. So yes, this option was still remaining. It's good that now it's recording, so everything is again available. But I think I did show that how to select KMS as well last time. I'm just going for AWS EBS. What am I selecting here is key management services. MS key management services. So when I select that, this device should be encrypted. So its encryption decryption keys will be saved here in KMS, which is a separate service offered by AWS. Save keys, encryption decryption keys, right? Suppose we lose encryption decryption keys, so that data will be forever locked, and we won't be able to see that data unless you go for some very expensive paid decryptors. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna go for the volume 2. Volume 2 is it is, you can go for any snapshot here, but I'm just gonna keep it empty. 8 GB standard volume, yeah, IOPS not applicable because it's the magnetic disk. Delete on termination, yes, this one.
Yes. Encryption also, yes.
Okay, we can select encryption for the second disk as well. AWS EBS. Okay, now we got more stuff covered here, but then there's another thing here called file systems. Windows, what file system Windows use? Is it NFS or NTFS? What file system Windows use?
NTFS?
Exactly. So it's NTFS. But let's click show details here, and it's going for FSX. You currently have no file systems on this instance. To add a file system, choose add shared file system. Obviously, we haven't deployed Windows yet, so it's saying that, oh, you want some other file system. So we're saying no, we don't want any other file system other than NTFS. So when the machine launches, it's gonna deploy Windows, and for deploying Windows, it needs to format the disk with NTFS file system. So it's going to do that itself once the Windows starts getting deployed. So we have made some more changes in detail in the storage volume as well. Now it's got a lot of stuff here. So if I go from way from down here, volume size of 15, yeah, that was the error. If I go up, so yes, that's the first volume 2, second volume, then the first volume. Both are delete on termination enabled. And then we have network card 2, it should be okay, and it is also enabled delete on termination for that. Network card 1 is also okay. Other than that, yes, the security group is okay, and we disabled auto sign public IP. Otherwise, it's not gonna let us go because we chose network cards. And yes, key pair is also downloaded, and that's it. It's Windows, and the name is this. Okay, so
Amir bhai, when you click on folder, it goes to the download folder. When you download the key pair and you click on folder, it goes to the download
yeah,
folder.
it goes to the download folder exactly automatically.
If you want to see in the future, so where you click that?
So I click this yellow folder file explorer and go to downloads folder, and there it is, the downloads folder.
Yeah, last time you click from the somewhere on the top, it
Yeah,
appears.
I clicked the save button myself. So I manually saved it in a specific folder last time. So now I just opted to let it be downloaded in the downloads folder automatically. So that's where it always goes.
So can you show us also where you save those so you can
I click launch instance, and if it lets me, because I already used it once and it downloaded, so now it's not offering me, and it has started to create 2 instances now.
Okay.
These two, right? Okay, so these 2 instances are creating. There's a launch log here, and it says initial testing request succeeded, launch initiation succeeded. If I go down further, I'm gonna go to the console of the instances, And yes, these are the two instances which are pending right now. And they intelligently gave exactly the same names to both instances, which I will then change to, because manually we can do that. I'm going to change that to here and save. So yes, first instance is running now, and we're going to be connecting to both instances quickly. And same key pair should be able to let us unlock the password, reveal the password of both instances. Okay, if I go further down here, so no public IP, bad news. And obviously I cannot connect to this machine if there is no IP at all. And we know that there's no public IP because we public DNS and because we have chosen to have two network cards. Now what we have to do is we need to go for, if I just go over the diagram, so we're going to go for elastic IP, right? Because we chose to have two network cards. If we had just one network card, then it would have given up automatically assigned an IP. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create manually an elastic IP, and I'm going to assign that elastic IP to NIC1, and then I'll try to connect. So suppose I'm connecting from home to this. So from home, I'm connecting to this instance after it gets a public IP, which is elastic IP that I'm about to assign NIC1. Right? So both VMs are created. So obviously, if I want to connect to the second VM, I need to assign elastic IP for the second VM as well. Alt tab. Okay, so where's the elastic IP? Last time we also created that. So if I go down to network and security here, so there's elastic IPs here as well. When it comes to security group, so security group was created also. So when we go for security group here, it's exactly one same security group that is attached to two instances. So this means that you can create a security group. One security group can be attached to hundreds of, when we say hundreds, it's not like multiple instances as well, the same security group. So it's the same firewall that you're connecting to, because suppose all instances only need to have port 3389 opened or RDP port open, right? So if you want that, then no need to create separate security group for every instance. So it can be connected to multiple instances, which can be two instances or 2000 instances or 200,000 instances. Okay. So same security group is created there. Now I'm going to go to elastic IPs here and I click that. And then I need to allocate elastic IP addresses, but obviously first I have to create one. Right? So if I click that, this is US East 1. And here I need one elastic IP. If I go to, I don't need some acceleration or high availability of the elastic IP. I'm not going for create accelerator. I'm just going for, okay, it's lab EC2 instance. I'm just putting some information here just to, actually we should have a habit of putting tags, right? Lab EC2 instances, allocate. Just clicking allocate. So this means I've asked AWS, hey AWS, can you allocate me a public IP here? Thank you very much. Now, once it is selected, I need to associate elastic IP address. Right? There are many other things, enable transfers, accept transfers, right? But we're going to go for associate. If I click the associate, it says, oh, you want to associate to an instance or a network interface? Well, if it's an instance, then if I click that, so there are two instances here, right? And each instance has two network cards. Right? Or if I click network interface and I click there. So now there are 4 network interfaces which we don't know which one is connected to which one unless we name them properly by separately going to each network interface and name them first NIC VM01, second NIC VM01, first NIC VM02, and second NIC VM02. So just for ease of use, I'm just going to go for instance wise and then going for the first instance. This means that second instance does not have this. I did not create another elastic IP for that, right? Just to check one more thing. What's that? The question then is, okay, I have 2 instances now, right? So elastic IP has the ability to be or unassociated from any instance and then associated to another instance as well if we want. So what I wanted to show is that once I purchase or once I get one elastic IP, should be the first one should be free, yes. So it is attached here. I connect here. I check everything okay. But now I don't want to actually purchase elastic IP. Suppose if I want to use the same elastic IP, I disassociate from here, and can I associate to this one, then connect to this machine as well, and check the 2 network cards and 2 drives. So can I connect from one elastic IP with 2 instances? Although obviously I can create multiple elastic IPs as well. Then another feature of or specialty of elastic IP is that you want to dissociate from, not associate here and then reassociate back to this one. Suppose this was gone, shut down, and the elastic IP was unassociated or disassociated, or you want to disassociate from one instance, associate to another instance. So can you do that? We're going to check that out. Well, so now I have connected this to the first instance. Now I'm going to connect to this instance and check out the 2 network cards and 2 disks. Then we're going to disassociate this elastic IP from instance 1 and associate to instance 2. But can we do that? So let's check that out. Go back here, and this instance I am associating the variables with which to associate with elastic IP.
So why not we are this IP is not associated with NIC2 VM1?
So it will be associated with one NIC. The second NIC will have just the private IP. Unless you want to keep on purchasing and keep putting public IP. Public IP to one instance to any one network card is always enough. You don't have to give second and third. Suppose we have 4 network interface cards in one instance. So we don't need to purchase 4 separate public IPs. Public IP in one machine is good enough to connect that machine to any internet IP.
So why
So
we
the
are
other, yeah,
why we are connecting with the NIC1? Why?
because we need to initially connect. Because at least one NIC has to have public IP. The other NIC can have private. So this is PU IP, and this one NIC will have one public IP that we are about to give, but it already has been given by AWS a private IP. This also has been given a private IP, but it's our choice. Do we need to purchase a second elastic IP? Now we have to purchase them, right?
Yeah.
Put it to the second NIC. So we don't need to do that because first NIC, when it is given this public IP, it will connect us to internet. The main reason for public IP is it connects us to internet. We need then 2 network cards to have separate public IPs because second one will do the same thing, connect to internet. When first one is doing that, you don't need the second one to do the same thing.
So this is by default is they allow us private IP? NIC2?
Yeah, private IP is by default because obviously they have to give some IP from their internal HCP as well. So they always give private IP. Private IP is free, right? So we can have any number of IPs there.
And how we figure out what is their private IP of NIC2?
When we go inside, we can do IP config and we will know that
Oh,
private IP has been given and which private IP has been given. We can know that too.
thank
We're
you.
going to do that now.
It can be auto assigned, like if NIC1,
Yes.
if VM1 is shut down, it the elastic IP auto switch to this one, the second instance?
No, once we assign it, it just stays assigned unless we disassociate it. So the way I manually associated it, that's the way I have to manually disassociate as well.
Like a auto scaling is type of thing. It
Mhm,
cannot be
mhm.
auto switching, like one instance is down, then the IP switch to the another instance, and
So for Elastic IP to do that, there are certain triggers that are required. Do we configure Elastic IP to exactly do that? But I let's just check it out here because yes, it can switch. Elastic IP is static IP address designed for dynamic cloud computing, and Elastic IP address is allocated to your AWS account and is yours until you release it. So when we release it, then it's okay. By using an Elastic IP, you can mask the failure of an instance or software by rapidly remapping the address to another instance in your account. So Elastic IP can switch automatically between two instances, yes. Alternatively, you can specify the Elastic IP address in a DNS record of your domain so that your domain points to your instance. So obviously, if you want somebody to connect, you can point that Elastic IP there, or some domain you want to connect users to this machine. So the thing is that yes, it can switch from one instance to another, but from one NIC to another, that is supposed to be, something that should be mentioned here. I don't remember that they mentioned here. Elastic IP address is static. It does not change over time. Elastic IP is for use in a specific region only. Cannot be moved to a different region. Okay. Elastic IP address comes from Amazon's pool of IPv4 addresses or from IPv4 address pool that you have brought to your AWS account. If we have brought something, use this, you first allocate one to your account and then associate it with your instance or a network interface. So suppose we do actually associate to an network interface. So when you associate Elastic IP address with an instance, it is also associated with the instance's primary network interface. That's where it's automatically going. When you associate an Elastic IP address with a network interface that is attached to an instance, it is also associated with the instance. So yeah, when you associate an Elastic IP address with an instance or its primary network interface, the instance's v4 address is released back into Amazon's pool. You cannot reuse a v4 address. You cannot convert a public IPv4 to an address. So it doesn't say anywhere it can switch from. Okay, I'll go for the word switch, but it does switch from one instance to another, or it's not go for. You can dissociate from a resource, then associate with a different. Unless they have done that now, I don't think they that
yeah, but
switching for the network
this
interface part, right?
explain in the first paragraph that you have to define in the DNS somewhere. I don't know how to define in DNS.
No, no, no. That is if suppose there's a domain, abc.com, and when somebody goes to the domain, then they're led to this IP address and this machine. If you want to do that, then first you have to purchase the domain in GoDaddy.com, go to the DNS of GoDaddy.com, and then put an A record there where this IP is as well. Yeah, that is something totally different. I mean, this is not what we intend to do, at least. Yeah, this is a good read. I'll just add it to Elastic IP, but yes, it does switch to from one instance to another. But from one IP to another, for this we can just you can do a by just deleting the first IP and then check if it goes to the other IP. Theoretically, it should go to the other IP. I mean, it has been assigned to an instance level, then it should switch to the other IP. If the first NIC for some reason is deleted, then it should, but it's subject to experimentation. Right? So I would suggest that when you're doing your lab, do all kind of experimentation. So, okay, so instance level we're connecting, and it's the first instance we're connecting to. For this Elastic IP address to be reassociated, specify whether the Elastic IP address can be associated with a different resource if it already associated with a resource. it can be associated with a different resource, mean different EC2 instance. Can you reassociate that resource? So I'm just going to click that. Yes, I would want to reassociate it with a different to a different resource as well, if it already is with a resource. So two resources, it can be attached as well. That's what I clicked on. Okay, I'm going to click associate here. It says no, blah, 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 blah. There are multiple interfaces attached to instance. Please specify an interface ID for the operation instead. Okay, so they are saying no way you can go for instance. And also, if there are two instances, you go for that. Last time we were able to do that while we added the second instance. Now, which interface card is this? 41FC4. So I'm just going to right click here, duplicate tab, and I'm going to go to EC2 instance, and I'm going to go for EC2 instances here. And so first is 2 instance, VM01 ends with 440B. Okay, so if I click that and go to networking, so private IP address is already assigned, right? And network interface is this. So first NIC, second NIC. Okay. So the first and second NIC, it's C88 and 491 are the two NICs associated with the first instance, C88, 491. If I go to the first tab here, it's C88 and 491 are these two. So I'm just going to associate it with the C88, which is, if I confirm by going back here, C88 is the first NIC of the first instance, and 491 is the second. I go back here and I tell that, okay, please attach it to the first network interface. And okay, we're good. And production environment, I would have named those. Actually, I did name them there as well. That's why they're showing in description. I named them. Interface ID is something that, hey, can we change the interface ID? If I click that, we can still name them as well. So C88 is the first NIC, although it's in the description, but there's a name here as well. So Armor dash
NIC 1.
VM01 dash first NIC. Save. If I go back here, oh, now I have to go all the way. Working first and then go for the second NIC of the first VM. So that would be still the first VM, but the second NIC. Okay. So yeah, in production environment, we have to name pretty much everything. And if suppose there's a VM01, suppose you have actually region East US and West US and East Europe and West Europe, suppose. And obviously you have EC2 instances in all those regions, then your name even expands. So naming convention has to be strictly followed then. So it's East US or ES or something like that at the start, and then you can go for it. Okay.
Yeah, tagging is good, at least we know what is this.
Yeah.
We can recognize.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go back here. Where did I go back? Because it's done, so I should. Yeah, it's already done. Yes. Now, I'm canceling it because it's done, right? Public IP has been associated to network interface 1. So it is associated. Now, this, I have only one elastic IP, right? I can even name that. So, okay. So elastic IP 1. Okay, because I can still switch or associate or disassociate it. Now, my first machine, the first NIC, is supposed to have a public IP as well. This means I should be able to connect to the first instance. Private IP is already there, but that's not our concern. The public IP, that is our concern, because we need to connect to this machine, go inside the machine now, right? So I go back and go to the EC2 dashboard or instances area, this one, and I was doing all this for this, right? Networking. Let's say second nick. Yeah, C88 49 491. Yeah. So I'm just gonna connect to this now. I'm supposed to be able to connect now, right? So I select this, click connect, and RDP client. We're gonna be going for these two as well, but right now I'm just connecting. First thing, I'll just download this. So it's downloaded here, the rdp.rdp file, which has my machine's DNS name built into. Other thing is obviously I need to reveal password. So now I need this key pair, which is living inside my downloads folder. So I'm going to click that get password, and it says, hey, this is the key pair that is needed. So I'm just going to go for upload. And yes, it is in the downloads folder, and that is today's one for 2 instances. All right. Now it should show me the password. There you go. Okay, I will put it temporarily. So Amer-VM01 and
So first we download the remote desktop file,
yes,
and then access key will appear, right?
then upload the access key that you've downloaded before, key pair that you downloaded before when you were creating the machine. You downloaded the .pem file. You need to upload that here, reveal the password. You don't upload it here, you won't reveal the password.
So by downloading remote desktop file, it gives you access key.
Yes. Oh, no, remote desktop file is just to connect the machine. So if I go here, if I want to make a connection, if I want to initiate a connection, so that is done by RDP. But then once I want to connect and it asks, hey, what is the administrator password? I don't know the password. I need to reveal that password with the help of the key pair. So if you have a key pair, it will tell you what is the password. You put the password in the password area, you connect. Otherwise, RDP will try to connect. If you don't have a password, you won't be able to connect. So key pair lets you in by doing the authentication, helping in the authentication.
Just want
RDP
to
just
know
simply
the
connects.
order you click those tabs.
Again?
Just want to know the order you click. You click first download key.
Yeah, it's not
Remote desktop.
compulsory you download first this. You
Okay.
can reveal this first and then download this. So anyone you can do first. You have to do both to basically connect, or you can know the IP, public IP of this machine, then you don't even have to download this remote desktop as well. But anyone you can do first. There's no order here.
Okay.
Okay, and yeah, if you don't do it yourself, you will be always confused. So better do the lab yourself to really know it and to really remember it, right? So first machine, I'm supposed to connect now. I'm just gonna quickly copy the password file here, and where's the download folder? This download folder, and the downloads folder has my RDP file that will help me connect. So I'm making that connection to the first machine, and Control V, pasting the password, and press OK. So yes, okay, I'm in. Now I need to, while it is loading, I'm going to minimize this and minimize this. And according to the diagram, what I'm supposed to do is I need to confirm if I have the second disk, I will format it. And if I have the second NIC, I need to confirm these two things. Then I'm going to connect to the second machine. But now, because I don't have another elastic IP, I can have, technically, yes, anytime I want. I just want to check that. Can I disassociate this from here and then associate here and then connect here as well? That would be more interesting to know the power of elastic IP. Otherwise, obviously, we can always get another IP. Okay, anyway, the first machine first. So if I go inside, yeah, I'm just gonna quickly try to check the disk. So I'm just gonna first I go here, this first machine, and I go to this PC. So it's only one disk because the second disk hasn't been formatted yet or initialized yet. Also, you can see that there's private IP already given. We never gave ourselves manually a private IP. It is always given automatically. Public IP is what we got, and it's in USC 1A. So if I go here, I need to actually format the disk. So I'm just going to go here, go to Server Manager, and it starts. And then I go to this, Tools, and then I go to Computer Management. And Monday or Sunday when it opens. Go. So inside the computer management, you have disk management. I'm going to click disk management, and then there's the disk 8 GB is offline. So I'm just going to right click and make it online. It is uninitialized or not initialized. So I'm just going to initialize it so we could create partitions. I'm going to stick to just one MBR partition, GPT or MBR. MBR is older way. GPT is new way. MBR supports up till 2 terabyte disks. GPT supports up to 64 terabyte disk, and you can have as many partitions in GPT. MBR, you can have limited partitions, limited size as well. I'm just going to press OK here because it doesn't matter right now which one is this. And I'm going to right click new simple volume just to format the disk so we can put files and folders on top of it and make it usable. New simple volume, then next. So next here it says yes, I'm going to use the full 8 GB size of the disk, and next available disk driver is D. Next, and yes, it's the second disk, so just putting a data disk or whatever you want. Perform a quick format. Want to compress it. Next and finish. It's done. Yes, 2 disks are there, confirmed. And if I go to local server here in the server manager, so there should be 2 network cards here as well. Yeah, Ethernet 2 and Ethernet 3. So if I go to the first network card here, I clicked it, takes me to this. If I double click the supposedly first network card, it's details. So it has the private IP here. And it just shows the private IP. If I go for the second one, it also shows a private IP here. But overall, one of the NICs have public IP. Oh, Terence says in the chat, instead of switching the public IP to the second VM, could you potentially RDP from the first VM to the second VM since they are both in the same VPC? Exactly, Terence. That's a very good idea. Just to check the power of that IP, Elastic IP. That's why I wanted to do that. But what Terence is saying now, which is a very good idea, we're going to do both, in fact. So we can check the power of Elastic IP as well as we can do this thing. So what Terence is suggesting, and that's also something very good to check, and it should be working. If we have the local administrator password of this one as well, which we will. So there are 2 network cards here, there are 2 network cards here, right? And this is the EC2 VM02, and okay, it's VM02, and this is VM01. So how about, because these two network cards in the first instance have been given private IP, obviously the private IPs have been given in this network card. Private IPs have been given to the 2 network cards of the second instance as well. So these two guys are living inside one VPC. So one VPC is one small network, right? That has been given to us. So we refer to it as default VPC, inside which we can do whatever we want, right? So when they are inside the default VPC, so obviously the DHCP within the VPC has assigned them private IPs here and private IPs here already. So they are both part of the same network. So that's why the private IP here and the private IP here, right? So PRV IP, private IP NIC1 should be from the same range. Right? So this means that we can actually connect. They should be on the same range. So if it is 172.16, well, right, not writing it. 172.16 something something, right? So these guys should also be 172.16, or even if not, no, actually they should be, because see this, they are within the VPC. There's always a subnet, right? So these two guys are sitting inside the default subnet of the default VPC. So within one subnet there is one range, right? Default subnet. So they should all have something started with 172.16. In fact, let me just check that what is the private IP exactly for these machines. 172.31. Okay, so all four network interface cards should be having the first two octets of 172.31. In fact, for the three, 172.31.30, we should all have that. Then they would be able to connect. So 172.31 is not 16, right? They should have the same IP here. That's the point. So yeah, now criteria is, why don't we first try to connect from this machine, RDP from this machine into this machine, right? RDP, because they are supposed to have the private IPs from same IP range. We should be able to connect, right? So once that is done, then because we connected from one machine to another, but we did not connect from home to the second machine. Only way to connect from our laptop to the second machine is if it has a public IP, which we haven't given. We only have one static IP right now available, which has been given to the first instance. And we're going to do what we were planning to do, that we're going to disassociate the elastic IP from this and associate to this one, right? So we will know then, can we even do that or not? So first thing, yeah, let's do that. Now I need to connect from within the first instance to the second instance. It should have no issues. So all I need to do is I need to know what is the private IP of this machine. I can know from the console, and what is the admin username. Well, administrator is the username, but what is the password? I need to know that. So I'm going to grab the information about what is the IP and what is the username password. Then I'm going to attempt to connect from machine 1, machine 2, on the basis of private IP addresses, because they are part of the same private network. Let's do that. So if I go to console, right? I go to the console. And I cancel out from here, and I go to instances. Go to the second one. All I need to do is go. So 132.31, 31, 122. Second is 132.31.22, 186. So that's the IP of the IPs given to the second instance. Let me just write them down here. Amir-VN02 private IPs. Yeah.
So we have given the source as my IP, right? So will that affect? So the source for both the VMs, so we have given as my IP, right? So only from your IP, like you'll be able to add IP.
One thing that is supposed to be very clear, it's a very good question. So when we say that for we are connecting from home from my IP, right? So we are connecting from over the internet. If we are connecting from over the internet, the only way we can connect to a machine is if it has a public IP, right? So whether we are connecting from my IP or we have set up in such a way that only from my IP I can connect, or from internet from 0.0.0 anywhere from the internet. If we connect, we can only connect from over the internet to any of those EC2 instances if they have public IP, whether it is my IP or just the internet. But we cannot connect to a machine that only has private IP. So this machine only has private IP. Well, there are ways to connect. What is the way to? Okay, this is a question to you. I can connect from my home over the internet to a machine that has public IP. But do you know how to connect from my home to a machine that has private IP? Anyone knows how to connect? There is a way. Anyone knows? So the only way to connect from home,
T
yeah, yeah, again,
through party.
no, no, no. Even through PuTTY, there is another thing that we need to have, and that is
VPN.
VPN. Exactly, as you said. So if we have VPN, then over the net, from home over the internet through VPN, if the VPN is configured in the default VPC and default subnet, then only VPN gateway is configured here, then only we can connect to a machine with only private IP from our home. But this is something that we don't have right now. So this means that the only way to connect this machine, the private IP, is from another machine that also has the same private IP and that is also within the same subnet. So yes, having my IP way of connection has nothing to do with how can we connect to the other machine. So this machine has private IP. The only way to connect right now is with that other machine. From home, we can connect to only that machine which has public IP. Whether we have configured through my IP or from over the internet, anywhere we connect. If it has public IP, then only we can connect. Otherwise, we cannot connect. So that's answer. Vijay says in the chat, we have given the source as my IP. So do we still able to connect? Yeah. So exactly. If it has public IP, yes. If it has no public IP, no, we cannot connect.
Can you
We cannot
write
control
here
the public IP.
172.31 so we remember this?
Yeah. So now let's go back to wherever we were trying to make a connection from this instance to this instance. And we can connect from this instance EC2 to this instance only because they both have the same range private IPs. Only because they are part of the same network and they have the same range private IP. That's why we are able to connect. Let's see now if we are able to connect, but we should be able to connect. I'm going to go back now and I'm collecting information. So this is VM02 private IP information, but I needed, and I need VM02 username password as well. But I also need from VM02, VM01 private IP IPs.
But it
And
should be one
just
IP
two.
only.
We can only use one IP, but I'm
Yeah.
just giving information right
So why they offer here two IPs, private IP?
now. There are two network cards, so each network card is one IP. If there
So
was
two
only one network card, it would show only one IP here. Because there are two network cards, so it's showing two IPs.
two IPs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I wanted to show this as well. Now you can see, in fact, ouch. So private IPs of the first machine is 172.31.30.99. Here, 172.31.31.92. And here, 172.31.29. And here. So the last octet are actually, everyone's last octets are different. right? Unless there is a routing somehow. So if I go back to this,
Depends on the subnet mask. Try pinging. Try pinging one of the or both of the IPs for VM02 from VM01.
the ICMP protocol is not enabled. It has to be enabled inside the security group for it to see the ping. Right now, the ping will be blocked. We can just do a direct connection. If there is routing enabled, then different subnets will
What's the
still be.
subnet mask? You can do an IP config /all, right? And on
Yeah, and
VM01,
check it
and we
out
can
as well.
see the subnet mask.
So, okay, I'll just go here, and otherwise I'll just do an attempt, and it's normally it does
Right.
connect, and the routing is normally enabled. EC2 internal. So first is EC2 internal, Docker 2, Docker 3, 2 and 3. It's not 0 and 1. So Docker 2 has 172, 255, 240, and default gateway is 16. So I haven't connected to the second one. Obviously, I can only connect, like, attempt to do that. So it's better to actually attempt this. But I need more information about second machine. So I'm gonna go to the console and collect some more information. I'm gonna uncheck the first machine, go for the second machine, and click the connect because I need the administrator password. I'm gonna do connect. I'm gonna go to RDP for the second machine now. Obviously, I don't need to download this now. Why? Because I'm not connecting from my laptop to the second machine. Why? Because the second machine does not have a public IP. Second machine only has a private IP. So from my laptop, I cannot connect, but from that other machine, I should be able to connect because it is in the same network as the machine. So that's why I don't need to download this. The password, I'm gonna try to reveal that. I'm gonna upload the same. It's saying that yes, it's the same key pair. So same key pair for machines or 200 machines or 2000 machines. If you have created at the same time, then you can use the same key pair for all. I'm gonna go for that. Decrypt password. Its password should be different, obviously. The private IP it's giving, I am alt tab, and I'm just gonna put that, which I already have actually, 31.192. Yeah, so I don't need to copy that. Administrator. So obviously administrator is the default one. It's the password that I need. Okay. Now we're kind of ready. So from within the machine, I'm going to go to the diagram. So within the machine, we're going to try to launch an RDP connection from one machine with which we are right now connected because it has a public IP to the other machine which has only private IP. In fact, this was a lab that we were supposed to do in the networking. We were supposed to do this, but that was also kind of similar scenario. But we're doing it now, which is also okay. So anyway, let me launch that. So I just need this password. I need the IP address as well. So 31.31.192. Okay. 31.31.192 and this password I'm gonna copy. 172.31.31.192. So I'm inside the first machine. I'll right click here and go to run, and I'm gonna type what? MSTSC, Microsoft Terminal Services Console. If I press MSTSC, press OK here. So it's just a remote desktop connection. It needs IP 172.31.31. Oops, after typing 172 num log on dot 31.31 dot 129 192. Okay, 192. And the password I already copied, but if it goes to that level, so there's one more thing that I need to enable here.
Please choose
Okay.
31.192.
So This is the source machine where I am right now, right? And this is the destination machine where I need to go. There's one more thing I am going to go to security group to change the destination machine, right? So destination machine, if you want to connect, you need to put its IP there.
So why you use 31.192? Why not 22.186?
Yeah, we can. It's we first tried this. Now we can try this as well. Yeah. So it's at one time we can try only one. So 31, 22, 186. We can try that. 22, 186. I have another thing in mind that we need to change. Oh man, what was it? 22, 186. 186. Okay, so by now, sometimes it takes time, but I don't think we need to connect to the security group of the second machine, and or we can create another security group from second. So guys, what's happening here? Let me explain. What's happening here is, remember that, oh, maybe Vijay was talking about this and I could not understand at that time. So this machine is connected to the same security group, one, right? So this machine's SG and this machine's SG, what is their source IP source? Is RDP enabled with security group? Yes. This security group has 3389 enabled. That's why we were connected. So this is the same security group connected to this machine, same security group connected to this machine, but the source IP, that's the issue. Source IP is my IP. For this machine, it makes sense. Like, okay, I'm from my IP only we can connect to this machine, but remember this machine also has the same SG. And for this machine, it says that anyone who has this IP, my IP, can only connect to this machine, no one else. While we are trying to connect from another instance here, while the security group tells this machine, hey, private IP machine number 2, I am only going to let anyone from this IP connect to you. While we are attempting to connect from here. This is not having my IP. This is having whatever IP is here. I need to create a second security group and tell that security group, hey, second machine, from now on, you will accept connection either from anywhere for the 0000, or you will accept connection from these guys. And whatever IP range they have, I can put that as a source that, hey, second machine, from now on, you're going to accept connections from whatever is the IP range of this machine. Right? So hopefully you understand what's going on here. But the same security group that is attached here should not be attached here if we want to connect from this machine to this machine. Right? Then security group should be a different one, and it should allow connections from here as well. Right now it says that only connection that can be made to you, VM02, is from whoever's IP is this, my IP, which is, I showed you whatever my DSL IP right now is. Right?
It should be SG2.
So exactly. I'm going to create SG2. I'm going to tell it that, hey, either accept IP from anywhere or connection from anywhere, or I can just give the IP range of this machine, and then we can attempt to connect again. Right? Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. And let's go back. And this time we're changing security group, which disallows traffic from wherever. Right? So I'm just going to cancel out from here. I need to get that information now. Second one, second machine, it is connected to this security group. I don't want this security group. So I'm just going to go directly to the security group and create another security group, then attach that security group to the second virtual machine. Right? So I'm going to go to the security group. And there is only one security group that is attached to both virtual machines. and I am saying that no. This can connect to this first virtual machine, but not the second one. I'm going to create second security group now. And, it's the naming convention that should be followed up very, very stubbornly. I can say security. I'm just grabbing that name here. So copy this. I'm going to go back there where I was creating a security group. And this is the security group for second instance with private IP only. Okay. And if I go down, yes, it's the same VPC in which we are doing. So yes, first thing is I'm going to enable RDP. And that RDP, I'll just type above there RDP, and it will just make the RDP. Second, yeah, 3389. But now, where are you accepting the connections from? So anywhere would also work, should also work. Obviously, my IP will not work because that machine is not having a public IP; it just has a private IP, right? So if I just keep it like this, it means from anywhere connection can come and you will accept that. Yeah, this should work. There's routing enabled because the subnet range is still different. RDP TCP 339 and from anywhere 000/0 means anywhere. So from anywhere, although anywhere is also here as well. Anywhere IPv4. Do that, it's the same thing. If I go for my IP, then it detects my IP and then say, okay, only from here you can connect, but it's private IP, so no use coming here. Okay, I'll stick to this anywhere.
We should take the my IP here because that is why this is the reason we create the second
No.
security group.
So if it is my IP, this machine should have public IP then. Because from internet, I am connecting from my IP, right? So if it does not have public IP, then I cannot connect from here to this machine.
Oh, okay.
So it just has private IP. So from within this network, I can connect from any other machine.
Okay. So is this secure?
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you give a machine a private IP, it is a bit more secure than that machine which has public IP, right? So best way is to give machines private IP, then install VPN gateway, which is a very secure connection over the internet, and then connect to machines having only private IP. That's the best practice or more secure way to. But now this machine has public IP, so it should be other securities here. Anyway, we're just we came up with a scenario and then we're following that. Hopefully, the main thing is, do we understand what we're doing? Second thing is how to do it then. Right? So that's why I'm trying to explain each and every step and the reason behind that. Guys, I am just
So
creating another
is this a
SG.
VPN is created now? Or is this only security group created?
No. So VPN is a totally separate lab. I haven't created that yet. I was just saying that if you want to do that, you want to connect from your home over the internet to a machine that has private IP. The only possibility is VPN.
Okay.
But since we don't have VPN, so that's the only other ways we can connect from another machine in the same VPC or same subnet, like this machine. So what we did was we create a second security group and we need to attach it to this machine, and then we will attempt again to connect. So yes, this has been created, but has not been. See guys, this is outbound rules. I need to create it in the inbound rules. So that's wrong area that I created. What is outbound rule? Traffic going from inside to outside of machine is outbound. And traffic coming from outside to inside is inbound. Right? So here, I'm going to attach the security group to this machine. So from here, for this machine, the traffic is coming from outside to inside. So it will be an inbound rule. Right? So I'm just going to remove it from here, delete, and I'm going to go for add rule here, 3389. Although the other machine should have outbound 389. Outbound normally is okay. So I'll just go for IPv4. So inbound rule anywhere, right? So yeah, description is okay. I'm just going down to create this. Now this security group has been created, but it has not been attached to any instance. So how do we attach this to the instance? From within here, actions, and manage tasks, copy to security group. Okay, so it's just security group that is there. And I need to attach the security group. So if I click here to security groups, default one I'm never gonna touch. This is the second one. I'm gonna select that. I need to attach it to the second machine. Actions. Is there anything here? Copy to a new security group, manage tags, edit account details. No. Run reachability analyzer. So it's not here. I have to go to the machine and attach it from there. Security group to CSV. No. No, no. So yeah, security group is created, but there's no way to attach from here to an instance. So I'm just going to go to the instances, check that if the instances, some instances I can attach a security group, detach and attach, right? I'm in the security and I need to, this is a security group, right? And
This is the old
it
one.
is inbound rules.
Security group is the
This one.
last.
Yeah, this is the one that I need to detach. I go to the security group itself and security groups. I need to detach it from the second machine. That's the only thing.
You first
Okay.
attach the second one and then detach the first one.
It should just give me from here. Yeah, it's supposed to be here. Instance settings, scaling, termination, stop, shutdown behavior, auto recovery, credit, blah 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 blah. Allow tech. No, it should be networking, obviously. Attach interface, detach interface, connect, manage IP addresses, security, change security group. There you go. I've selected the second machine. Security group is in the security, and now instance details is this, and I'm gonna remove this security group here, and if I click here, so it shows me all the security groups here. So there's the second one I created there. So go the second security group. First I selected it, and I'm gonna add. There we go. So the other security group that allows connections from anywhere is attached to the second instance. Okay. If now it's supposed to work theoretically if routing is enabled. So what we have done, second SG is connected to this one, which allows traffic from anywhere. So we're gonna attempt again from here to there. Although the subnets are a bit different, so obviously if routing is enabled, then different subnets are routed to each other. So yeah, we'll be able to connect. We should be. So that's the second network interface card. There was a first one. Okay. Even second one first I'll try, and then the first one. Otherwise, then the plan number one, plan A, was to connect the elastic IP to that, then check what's going on there, and maybe the firewall is stopping or something. So it's still a different subnet, so logically it may not work, but let's just check it out. So that was the first.
It's actually working. Like maybe you have to try the second public IP from the.
Yeah. So this is second public IP or private IP?
Yeah. When you go to the VM2 session, like it shows the IP. Yeah. So I'm able to.
31.192. I'm just gonna go for 31, 31, 1. Yeah, it's 31, 31. But okay, 31, 31, 31, 192, right? Yes, good news, I think. Yay! Okay, so it was a security group and the first IP, yeah. So if the name pops up, 99% it works. I'm just gonna grab the password.
Why we select first one? First one is a public IP.
It's still a private IP, but it's the first NIC IP, and first NIC has connectivity. The first NIC of first machine. So it's first NIC to first NIC activity. First machine's first NIC connected to second machine's first NIC IP. So yes, we are actually now connected to the second machine from within the first machine.
Okay.
You can see that there is a public IP here, the DNS.
We
And
use
this is
the
the private.
both the private IP, right?
Yes,
NIC 1,
exactly.
NIC 1 and NIC 1.
Yes, NIC 1 first machine, NIC to do one of second machine. That's theoretically what we're saying, but yes, they should be connected either in the background from the same subnet, or their routing is enabled between the first ones and first ones. You can see now within the machine, this is the remote desktop to the other machine, and this is the first machine. So yes, private IP to private IP, we are able to connect within the same VPC. And now the only thing remaining is power of the Elastic IP. So yeah, this is the second machine, but we are only able to connect to this machine from first machine. Right? So pretty interesting. We can do all kind of stuff here. And so I'm just gonna, it's done. It's okay. But if we want to connect to the second machine directly from our laptop, not from the first machine only, then, so I'm just going to close that now. It's loaded, and whenever we want, we can always connect. But now, how about the Elastic IP that this machine has? Right now, Elastic IP connected to this VM or EC2.
And you can write here
Yes.
also private IP of VM1 here.
This is the
On the
two
top.
private IPs of VM1. These two.
Yeah. Okay.
So these two are here, and these two are here.
So 199 connect with 192.
Exactly. So it's like, actually they're all different, but it's from one first machine. We are assuming that yes, whichever IP was used, because it's just the network card, whichever network card is used. Normally, otherwise, yes, whatever is the first Ethernet adapter that is used. So that's why that's why we're saying that this IP through this IP. Otherwise, if I go inside, so there is always an order here as well. There is something, if I press Alt here, advanced setting, there is bridge connect, advanced settings. No, not advanced settings. It tells us the order as well. Here, used to configure it that way. No, we don't want a bridge. Operator assistant dialing, no. Remote access, no. It's not showing anymore. But normally we could change the order that which network card will receive the traffic first. So through that we have launched. So there's always an order between the network cards.
And also,
Okay.
we want to do that second disk online of
Yeah.
VM2.
Well, it's just a repetitive process. I mean, I've shown you this, so obviously we should assume something as well instead of doing everything. So yes, this is the same procedure that you can do on the second one. When you're doing the lab, go there, go to this computer management, disk management, and then do the same thing there as well. It's just repetitive. Okay, so I'll just go for the elastic IP thing, so we could move ahead. The objective now is to connect the second VM directly from RDP connection from my laptop, right? Which was not possible till now because it only has elastic IP. If I go to the other machine, it has a public IPv6 and elastic IPs here. So can we detach it from here, VM01, and attach it to VM02? Then can we successfully connect? Or do we have to buy another elastic IP? This one. So I'm just going to quickly go there down here to the elastic IPs. And this elastic IP can be, okay, there's release as well. But when I release, it just simply vanishes from here. So it's like release from our subscription. It's just gone, right? Suppose I keep it, but just disassociate from this VM. Release means delete from here. Then when I request again, it will give me a separate IP and a different IP. If I disassociate from here, if you dissociate this elastic IP, you can reassociate it with a different resource. The elastic IP address remains allocated to your account. My account, yes, I want the same elastic IP. Suppose I want the same IP. You can have one elastic IP, EIP address associated with a running instance at no charge. That's the first one. If you associate additional EIPs with that instance, you will be charged for each additional EIP associated with that instance on a pro rata basis. Additional EIPs are only available in Amazon VPC to ensure, we discussed that before as well. So I'm just going to disassociate from here, but I'm going to, so it is disassociated, and I want to associate, like if I go to the instances and then go to the first instance, so no more elastic IP now. I'll go back to elastic IPs here and actions and associate again. So this time network interface, it was saying because there are two, so okay, there you go. So VM01 first NIC, second NIC, because we gave the name, so now we can easily see that. So which one is the first one? I'm just gonna quickly go to the second machine, networking, and yeah, there's the first NIC that ends with CF0 and FC4. Okay, CF0 is the first one, this one. So I'm connected with the first one, associate. Now I should be able to connect to the second instance. So yeah, I'm distracted now. There was a message that I am no longer connected to the first instance. Okay, second instance, here I come. Please let me connect. I'm clicking the connect. I'm going RDP from my laptop this time and download remote desktop file, whether before or after, doesn't matter. And I do have the password of the administrator. Hey, it machine did not really detect it till now, the elastic IP yet. I'm doing it too soon. The second machine should show. Oh, it is showing now. So if I connect again in RDP, now it is showing. Okay, now we're good. So download remote desktop again, and hopefully password should be same. Yeah, connect. Password is this one. Control C, Alt Tab, and yes, we should be able to connect now. Yay! So elastic IPs can be disassociated and reassociated. That is also done. Private IP machine can connect to other private IP machine within the same VPC. That is done as well. When two network cards are selected, we have to go for elastic IP generally. That's the third thing we learned today. So yes, a lot of things that happened, and practically when we do that, so pretty much everything should be clear.
So what you did
Yeah.
the last one, I don't get it.
So
PSO
we
did
connected
what?
from home to this machine as well. That's what we did because we gave the public IP. This public IP was taken away from here,
Mhm.
and public IP was given. Same public IP was given here.
Oh, okay.
Then we connected from home directly to this machine.
So when you
Before,
connected, so
yeah.
which IP you use?
So then I downloaded the RDP, right? So RDP has that public IP inbuilt already. So I double click RDP because I knew that elastic IP or public IP has been associated to this machine already. So that's why I went for download RDP, and I was able to connect successfully to the second machine as well. So the only thing is that I moved the EIP or elastic IP. First was here, and I removed it from here, disassociated, and I associated here. Then I tried to attempt to connect from my home, my laptop, from my IP. This machine, now I'm able to connect as well. Now I will not be able to connect to this machine because there is no public IP attached to this machine now. Right? So whichever machine has public IP, I will be able to connect from over the network, from home. If it doesn't have IP, then only local machines can connect to each other because they always have private IP connection. So yes, try to see that video again and again because first time it may not be very clear, but when you repeat it again, and especially when you do the lab yourself, that clarifies even more further. Just watching only will not be beneficial in the long run. Doing will be beneficial.
Okay, one more thing. How you RDP, not RDP, like you want to see the IP address of the machine in this window machine, how you do this inside of the VM?
So if we are inside, then you go here. Well, the IP is showing here as well. This one, it is only showing private IP,
How you
and
do CMD here?
yeah, CMD and then IP config. IP config that gives us, smaller or shorter information, or up arrow to get that command again, or slash all will give more detailed information about that.
Okay.
But IP config is the command for that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's already recorded, so you should just make notes and do the lab. So okay, so hopefully it was fun. Let's keep going ahead now. Okay, so oh yeah, not this one. Hey guys, so I'm going to. That was a big mess, but hopefully that was useful mess. So for EC today's lab, what we did, created two instances with NICs and two disks. Got one EIP associated that EIP to first EC2 instance and connected to it from that EC2 instance. We connected to the other instance which only had private IP.
By changing the security group?
Yes, exactly, within the same VPC/subnet, we had to change the security group. We had to create another security group. We had to create another security group
And
with
define
three.
inbound rule?
Hmm?
Define inbound rule only?
Okay. Yeah. So yes, sir. Security group and defined inbound rule. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Inbound rule, allowing 3389 port and source of access was anywhere, which is 0.0.0.0/0. Right? Then we were able to connect, right? And then we disassociated the EIP from our first instance and reassociated to the other instance and connected to it as well from over the internet from our laptop. Okay, so this was all what we did. And it is very useful, obviously, when you have different scenarios and you want to change. So what uh, components you need to change, what configurations you need to change. And my suggestion is to redo the whole lab from scratch on your side as well by following the videos and step by step. Then that's always beneficial. So let's continue with the next ones. Okay, so this one also is a diagram that we can imagine. Oh, I did not attach the first one. So this was VM1, VM2 configurations, and this is the diagram where we try to understand everything. Okay, so now more features. Let's explore those. If I go
We have
back
only
here,
one
yep,
subnet here.
that's only one VPC, one subnet. So when we go to the networking topic, then we're gonna create actually two VCPs and two subnets or three subnets at that time.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So here, I'll close the second tab here, and then go back where we have the instances. So the two instances, yes, we can create two instances. It's gonna create with the same name. That's strange. So we have to just change that. Obviously, the instance ID is different. It's the same availability zone here that we created that as well. Now, if you go down to instance types, then it's different types of instances that we've already seen before as well. And today, I hope it loads. Hello. Oh, there you go. So these are all the types of instances, and you can see that 607 types of instances with different types of vCPUs, types of architecture, different memory, different storage type, SSD or magnetics, fast or slow, network performance, and on-demand pricing. So it's a pretty uh, long list with page 1, page 2, page 13. If I go, this is a long list that we've already seen. Whatever instance that you want to choose, then there are actions here. Create launch template. So this means that with this configuration, create launch template. So launch template is that you can actually create a template. What is a template? So template is with which you can actually create rooms. So suppose we have launch template is basically another name for that is um, a specific configuration, EC2
And it starts
configuration.
from where? It starts from which range? Like, when you are showing the price list, from which
When
specification start the template?
so yeah, that's what I'm explaining right now. So when we understand what is launch template, you will know that where it starts. Okay, so specific EC2 configuration. So what is launch template? Is a specific EC2 configuration. For example, if we go for it has to have 6 vCPUs, and it has to have 32 GB RAM, and then there is 1 TB SSD disk, right? So etc, etc, etc. So you create a configuration or a template for that. Then you say that the OS should be Win 2022, and there should be SQL, not SQL Server, but Win 2022 with latest patches and maybe some software like Adobe Reader or something. So you create a template. Template is just a specific configuration on top of which you can create. Once the launch template is decided, sometimes it's just the hardware and sometimes it's the hardware and software as well, but operating system, sometimes it's just hardware that only this vCPU, this much RAM, this much SSD, this much IOPS, this much throughput, that's it, right? And that many disks. So once the launch template is decided, then we can use it to do what? To create EC2 clones. Oh, what is that? So a clone is just an exact copy of the launch template, which means that that virtual machine will have exactly this kind of hardware whenever it is started. You can then do flexibility in that clone machine. Okay, I want in all these clone machines, I want web server Apache Linux or IIS from Windows. But the basic launch template, whatever you decided, suppose you're creating now 200 clone machines. Clone means just simply exact copy. So clone EC2 instances, but you want that above launch template to be used for all 200 clone EC2 instances. So launch template is used to just define that, okay, all the 1000, suppose 1000 virtual machine you want to create, so all 1000 EC2 instances should have whatever I defined in the launch template. So template is just kind of a sample or machine which needs to be followed by every new machine that is created. Exact same configuration you can just give to hundreds or thousands of machines there. So when you hear the word template, this means that specific configuration that can be cloned to other thousands of new EC2 instances or virtual machines. So that is launch template. In fact, we're going to be using that launch template for our Autoscale lab when it comes. But yeah, launch template, we just need to understand that it is kind of a sample or specific configuration that we can copy into thousands of virtual machines. So you can create a launch template out of any, but obviously if you choose any of the big ones, be ready to start pay for it as well. Obviously, the more underlying hardware you choose, more expensive it will be. And then suppose I chose randomly one machine. It's Z1D 2X large, 8 vCPUs, and architecture is x86 64 GB RAM. Wow. Okay. Then compute, networking, storage, accelerators, pricing, whatever you can change, and then create a template out of that, and then create clones or exact copies of that to that launch template.
So can we create a T2 micro virtual machine?
So as I said that there is a lab coming where we're going to use launch template, and that is called Autoscale. And it's exactly going to do that. Once we create a launch template, then we're going to use it in Autoscale. Autoscale simply creates automatic copies of those machines. So yeah, this launch template lab is upcoming. Okay, so here we can just, so it's all specific configurations, whichever you want. You would know, suppose there are 10,000 users which will be connecting. So then you would know that suppose there's a big application there. there's a EC2 instance or number of EC2 instances, and there are thousands of users connecting there. So you will then decide which type of hardware you would really need. And obviously, if suppose you are deploying some application, so whichever company you purchase that application from, that company would have given a documentation as well that if the users are from 5,000 to 10,000 or from 20,000 to 100,000 or 80,000 or whatever. So this type of hardware is used for if it's 10,000 users, that type of hardware is used if it is 50,000. So the company, the vendors, you need to check from which you purchase the licenses for the application, and then you choose that hardware here. After also identifying how much it will cost you per month. So that's how you decide the whole thing, which hardware exactly we need, for how long, what kind of capacity.
For
So,
instance,
yeah.
if I wanna, they said, okay, for 20 machines, you deploy Office 365. So you take the template clone of 20 machine and deploy the 365 on each machine.
So there are many ways to do that. There is another thing called here AMI, and in AMI, you can actually build your own image. Means that you decide your hardware, and then you decide what operating system, and then you also decide what applications. You create that full image, and then you can make hundreds of copies of that. All the copies will have, suppose in the image you have installed MS Office. When you create 100 copies of that, they will all have MS Office. But obviously, you need to put the key. Either you purchase a volume license key, which means that one key can be used for, suppose, 1,000 machines, and that one you will pay that much, right? Suppose you say, no, I want 10,000 machines to have MS Office, so you will pay one license key or one key for that, 10,000 machine worth of money. So the thing is that, yes, you can create your own custom image and then create copies of that image. So that is
So
possible as well, not here.
So custom copy is AMI and template is
Yeah.
different, where we use template and where we use AMI.
So launch template, as I said, in fact, that's the next one here. So instance types, yes. So I was just trying to finish that. We get that, okay, this is different hardware and you can use it for launch template, but that's the next topic here. What is launch template? And I'll click that. So EC2 launch templates streamline, simplify, and standardize instance launches. So use launch templates to do what? Automate instance launches, simplify permission policies, and enforce best practices across your organization. So what are the best practices? What do we do exactly? So save launch parameters in a template that can be used for on-demand launches and with managed services, including EC2 instance autoscaling. So that's what I was saying, that we have a lab coming, autoscaling, where you're going to see the launch template in action, and EC2 fleet. This is also if you want to create a long, lots of virtual machines or EC2 instances, then use this. Easily update your launch parameters by creating a new launch template version. So yeah, launch template is used where you have autoscale. In fact, no. Okay. I was checking the time here. It is
Can we do here
autoscale.
auto scaling attach in this in these two?
This is autoscale. Obviously, auto scaling, as I was saying, that it is an upcoming lab. Obviously, we're going to do auto scaling. But right now, I'm just checking that
If we can,
half
if
an
we can
hour.
stop the instance and not delete that, so there is no charge. Like if we
There will be
stop the
charge for the.
instance,
Mhm.
we stop the instance and reopen the same instance for auto scaling and other stuff, they cannot charge us because it's the stop instance.
No, they will charge.
Oh.
So we're using their space storage, right? And you
Sorry.
have
So can we create a AMI for this?
Again, it's gonna use storage. So they will charge us for the storage. So that's why at the end of each lab we delete it, and at the start of the next we simply create the whole thing. And it's good to create again because we are more familiar with all the tools. Okay, so it's 9:25. I think we can do it. I don't want to leave the lab in the middle. So Autoscale, we can actually do that lab. So Autoscale replacement groups, key pairs, network interfaces. I think we covered pretty much a lot of stuff here already.
Load balancing.
Let's start.
Load balancing also is on the top.
Yeah, sure. Don't worry, I'm not leaving anything here. You're gonna see everything. So, okay, here, autoscaling. What is autoscaling? Autoscaling is that because launch template topic will be covered there as well, and autoscaling was one of the load balancing and autoscaling. These are the main labs. So autoscaling is pretty interesting feature where suppose there's a scenario that you have, suppose it's Best Buy, right? Best Buy, and there's a Boxing Day sale coming. So Best Buy is anticipating like 10,000 users on Boxing Day midnight. And Best Buy has this virtual machine where there's a web server, and this web server has all the web pages, and those web pages obviously have all the catalog and products, right? So catalog of all the products. So now 10,000 users will be connecting, seriously. So this means that if suppose there are 2,000 users connected here, suppose this machine has 4 vCPUs, 2.5 gigahertz, right? And 16 GB or 32 GB RAM. And there is 2 times 1 TB SSDs and other configurations, right? So now Best Buy has created one machine and they're expecting 2,000 users per machine. Overall, last year, suppose they said that, hey, we had 50,000 users and they were doing shopping. Now, if this machine can take 2,000 connections, obviously the machine has CPU level. There's it can take 2,000 users, but suppose there are 10K users here, 10,000 users. So they will all be clicking, opening pages. So CPU level will keep going higher and higher. So, and then if it reaches 95% CPU or 99%, obviously all services will stop because there is no CPU to or processor to receive the requests of open this page, open that page, do this, do that, vacant some more memory there. So the thing is that the CPU will take over. So if Best Buy has more virtual machines here, then the 10,000 or 50,000 users could be divided among all those virtual machines. So autoscaling does exactly that. It offers, it's a pretty cool business solution where it says that why don't you put a CPU threshold? So you put a threshold there that when the processor goes more than 75%, automatically create a copy of the first machine and distribute the users among two machines. And if the processor for these both machines go more than, so suppose more users are still coming, right? So there were 10K users, now 20K users are coming because there are cool deals going on and more users are connecting now. So when the processor reaches the threshold or breaches the threshold of 75%, create more machines, right? So it keeps on creating. Now you can control that how many machines should be created, right? So in the auto scaling, you can control that too, because obviously whichever machine you create, all those machines are exact copy of the first machine, which means that those machines will all have exactly the same underlying hardware usage, which means you're going to be charged for whatever number of machines you have automatically asked to create. So users are being divided among the virtual machines, right? And dividing until, so suppose you say, okay, I can take up to 100 machines. Best Buy says that maybe 50 machines or something, whatever number. So when it reaches 100, then it will not, suppose still users are coming, still more and more, 100,000 users are by now here now. So, but if your machine limit has reached 100 and you said that don't go more than 100, then it will just not go and keep creating more machines and dividing users there. That's one thing. That is called upscale or autoscale. So it just keeps on scaling until if there is a threshold breached every time, it creates another one. But then there is another one, and that is there's a scale out and scale in, right? So what I was explaining you was scale out. Scale out is in 75% or whatever threshold you put. If it the CPU goes more than that because of too many people clicking, too many things, too many pages open, so it will create automatically an exact copy of that and distribute the users again. So there's a scale in as well. There's scale in, and that's a pretty cool feature. Scale in. So scale in is that you put another threshold here. So if the processor goes less than suppose 25%, which means it's not busy. It's so it's empty. So the processor CPU usage went down 25%. So as soon as it goes down 25%, so suppose the morning time users have started going away and they have done all the purchases or they've gone to other sites now, so there are very less users. So suppose for this machine went down 25%, so actually it's going to delete the machine automatically as well. And then there were even lesser users, so it also go less than 25%. So you'll start deleting the machine, whichever machine went down more than 25% or 30%, whatever threshold, lower scaling threshold you put there. So what's the benefit of that? So benefit of all this is it kept on scaling out when there were so many users. You don't lose the business. I mean, the users there's a research that says that if your page loads or it takes like 2 to 6 seconds more, then the user will likely go away to another page. You would have lost that business already. User might come or might not come. Right? So the user doesn't go away because it keeps on scaling out. Your pages, your website still keeps on performing because every machine, the exact copy of that, exact same pages users are seeing on different machines. But when your users are not there, this means there's no business going on. But you should not be paying for what you're not using. Your business, your machines do not have users. This means there's less business. So it will just start deleting. So you don't have to pay for extra for 100 machines. That would already be a very big amount. But maybe if you're paying $100,000 while you have made like $20 million, so what is $100,000 then? Nothing for the company if they were making such big money. So when there's no user, machines are deleted, which means you don't get to pay for what you're not using. And when there are users, they start copying and creating more machines. So the users still see very good speed and they don't see any slowness because of too many users are on the same machine. So that's the main idea behind Autoscaling. It's pretty cool for businesses, right?
Okay, I have a
So,
question. So
yep.
the number of users are load balancer, right? Load balancer comes from this
So
idea like number of client.
yes, so these machines are behind a load balancer, and the users will only be divided with the help of load balancer here. Exactly. There has to be a load balancer to divide users. And load balancer is only applied when all the machines are exactly the same type. Then you have to just load balance and divide the users among the machines. So yes, there is always a load balancer here. Since it is the lab specifically for what is auto scaling, so that's why I don't mention that. And there's a separate lab for load balancer also coming. But yes, in this scenario, load balancer users are connecting to a site. Suppose it's bestbuy.com, and that site is redirected to a public IP of the load balancer. And that load balancer, when it receives all the traffic, it divides among different machines. And yeah, so it's all about, you can put CPU there, or you can even put bandwidth there. So if there's a certain amount of bandwidth increase, create another machine and divide the users. Then the certain amount of incoming traffic is there, or certain amount of outgoing traffic is there. You can even put a threshold on bandwidth, or you put a threshold on the basis of CPU usage. So any of those can be used.
So
Right.
scale out is a vertical, and scale in is scale out or scale in is a vertical. What do you
Yes,
call
it's not scaling up and down, it's scaling out and in.
the vertical
So
one?
yes, so vertical scaling out and vertical scaling in. It keeps
And
upgrading
horizontal one
X.
is a horizontal when you go creating
Oh yeah,
border.
it's not vertical, it's horizontal. It's this way.
Is
So up and down, scale up and down is obviously that you upgrade that hardware, keep on upgrading that hardware, and the user's still getting better performance. So obviously that's, I don't think there's a service that does that automatically. So it's always scale out there.
okay. So scale out is horizontal.
It's horizontal, not vertical. Exactly.
Scale out is horizontal, and
And scaling is also horizontal.
scale in is also
Yeah,
horizontal.
it goes back the same way it came, right? So
Yeah.
it's increasing one by one or two by two. We can even say that if there's a trigger, it breached 25%, then threshold, then we can create at once 3 machines, or we can create at once 10 more. We can create just one more every time the trigger. So we can even select that. But yes, it scales out horizontally, then it scales in horizontally as well.
And also I read it in the online that what do you call that? Auto scaling also, like if one machine is, for instance, is like is not performing well, it terminate the machine and take it out from the auto scaling group.
Yes. So that is because of the health probe.
Yeah,
There's a thing called health
health
probe,
checks.
health checks, exactly. And that it simply probes all the machines, and it tells the load balancer that, hey, load balancer, don't send load here, or don't send traffic, user traffic here, because that comes, obviously, we're going to discuss that in the load balancer lab. What is health check or health probe? But here, yes, that also happens when the load balancer is there. So yes, auto scaling works with load balancer, but we have a separate lab for this, the load balancer, and a separate lab for auto scaling, because we need to prove if auto scaling even works or not. So we're gonna then put some kind of configurations here in such a way that it should automatically start multiplying machines or EC2 instances. So let us go ahead. Hopefully we can do the lab. We don't seem to have enough time now, but and I don't want to rush. So what happens is we can go to auto scaling. So there are two things here: auto scaling groups and launch configurations. So auto scaling group. Amazon EC2 auto scaling helps maintain the availability of your applications. We started with EC2 auto scaling by creating an auto scaling group. So auto scaling groups are collections of Amazon EC2 instances that enable automatic scaling and fleet management features. So these features help you maintain the health and availability of your virtual machines. Um, So now we can start from launch configurations. We can also start from launch templates. It will ask for either you go for launch configuration or launch template to create auto scaling or not. So this is something. There's another thing against the launch template. So that is not against, but launch configurations and launch template. There are two things that we can choose from. So I'm going to go to the auto scaling group here and check out if I go there. So there is that auto scaling group name, enter a name to identify the group, specify a launch template that contains settings common to all EC2 instances that are launched by this auto scaling group. So it says, hey, where is your launch template? You can launch from here as well, or where we were before, you can launch the template from there as well. It's a pretty much same thing. It's the same wizard, right? So we have to give it a template that this much hardware we need, this type of hardware we need. We have to name this group. So I'll name this group as armor dash auto scaling dash group, and then it says switch to launch configuration or create a launch template. Right? So choose a launch template that contains the instance level settings, such as the Amazon machine image, instance type, key pair, and security group. So these are instance level settings. If I switch to launch configuration, instead of using launch configurations to create your EC2 instance auto scaling groups, we recommend that you use launch templates and make use of the auto scaling guidance option. More information on migrating launch configurations and using launch. So launch configuration is what? Use a launch configuration that contains the instance level settings such as Amazon machine image. So that's just launch configuration detail, which pretty much seems like the same. But it says that launch template has more options for you than launch configurations, although they kind of are the same things that you configure. You assign some kind of configurations with which will be copied for all the virtual machines, which will be adopted. I'm going to go switch to launch template here, which we were initially deciding. So what is the launch template? Now we're going to click create launch template. And I'm going to go for Amir launch template. So I would know that this is the one to delete. Template version. Just suppose you have different templates 1 year before you created, and then now there's a difference, so you can put that version difference. We have just one, so I'm not putting this here. Auto scaling guidance. Provide guidance to help me set up a template that I can use with EC2 auto scaling. So it's launch template closely works with the auto scale feature. So there's a template tags here. There's a source template here, launch template name. So it says that, hey, you can optionally specify a source template if you would like to create a template from another existing. We don't have another existing template. We are creating the launch template now, right? So that's why we have to use these two options. I'm going to go down here, launch template contents. So what do you want in a launch template? Specify the details of your launch template below. Leaving a field blank will result in the field not being included in the launch template. So search our full catalog, including thousands of applications and OS images, right? So it just says that browse more AMIs or quick start. So if I go to quick start here, it just shows that, hey, what do you want to include in your template? I say that, okay, go for Windows machine. And obviously, I'll stick to free tier eligible. I could choose any of the Linux machines, and all my copies will be all whatever I choose here now. And then it says that in the launch template, what kind of instance do you want? Don't include in launch template. Or I could go for exactly T2.micro, which is the free tier eligible. There's T1 micro as well. Wow. Anyway, so T2.micro is there. And then if I go down there now, if I need to really connect to these machines and troubleshoot them, then I need a key pair name. So I can go for the existing key pair. The only thing I need to make sure is, do I know where is it in my machine? Otherwise, I can create a new key pair and save it when I know where it is, right? But I know that in my downloads folder, I have the key pair for the previous two instances. So I'm going to use the same key pair here as well. Although I'm not going to actually connect to the machines, I just want them to duplicate, multiply, just to prove that Autoscale works. Network settings. So what kind of network setting you want? So I'm going to go for, okay, organization's sake, I'll go for 1A or 1B, whichever. They're all exactly the same. I don't have any reason to go to another one. So 1A subnet, please create all the virtual machines or copy virtual machines. Existing security group, yeah, it's a Windows machine, so I can go for connect from anywhere with 3389 port, or I can go for connect from my IP. I'm just going to go for connect from anywhere and select this existing security group and connect it to all the machines there. Although I don't intend to connect to those. Network interface, yes, this time I'm just going to stick to one network interface, and I would want it to be remove subnet for EC2 autoscaling templates. It's already selected. I
Yeah,
just want it to be deleted.
you
Yeah.
choose why you choose this second instance here on the top? The security group.
I didn't choose any.
3389 on the
Yes,
top.
I chose this security group because it has 3389 port and it connects from anywhere. Although I don't intend to. I can choose any security group right now,
Okay.
so it doesn't matter. Okay, so network interface 1, yeah, everything seems to be okay. And storage, EBS volume, yeah, whatever default volume is there, put that. Source tags if you want, and advanced details is for auto scaling, whatever. So we talked about all those auto recovery, termination protection, everything. So if you want to choose that for launch template, because whatever you choose here will be multiplied to other machines as well. So I'm just keeping it simple, and yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, so I'm just okay with this launch template, and it gives me a summary of what I chose here, which is okay. So I'm just gonna click create launch template, and I'm gonna choose that for auto scaling, right? Oh, okay. So it says remove subnet for EC2 auto scaling templates. Okay, so I chose a subnet, but it says that hey, don't choose, don't include in launch template. So this means that where whichever subnet is suitable for multiplying EC2 instances is going to create those, which is okay as well. Because on the back end, suppose AWS subnets, some availability zones are heavily being used by others, and some availability zones are actually free. So they would then put this kind of load in those which have less traffic on their side. Okay, so I'm just going to create launch template. Once that is done, successfully created launch template, and then it says that create auto scaling group. Yes, this is what I was going to do. This is the second tab. If I go to the first tab, did it discover that? So this is where I was going to add the launch template. I'm just going to refresh it here, and yes, there is my launch template that I just created now. And if I go down,
so this template is a sample of the original machine.
so this is the template. There is no machine yet. This is the set of configuration that I hold the launch template. That if I want to create hundreds of machines out of you, Mr. Launch template, so all those machines should have that configuration that I mentioned here. So
So
this
we are
is not
making a
exactly a
configuration copy. We're making a configuration copy of the original machine.
yes. So there is no original machine. I didn't copy a configuration of any existing machine right now. I just told them this configuration I need for all the clones that I'm about to create now, right?
Okay.
So this is just a combination of configurations that I told it. This is what I want in all the clones. Okay, so template is selected, and I'm going to click next. And then which VPC? Obviously, our VPC availability zone, whichever availability zone. I'm not specifying now. Instance type requirements. Yeah, that's it. Override launch template. No, I don't want to override launch template. Whatever I chose in the launch template, please have this hardware or have those configuration in all the new machines. That's what I'm telling it. Next. Okay, so now it says that please choose some. And so I'm just going to go for 1A. Any other I can choose is also okay. And if I go next, then it goes for load balancer. So this lab hasn't been done load balancer, so we won't be able to understand. We have to separately do a load balancer lab as well to understand load balancer as well. So I'm not including load balancer now. We are here to test if Autoscale actually works. Does it multiply if some kind of CPU threshold is breached? Does it actually multiply or not? Additional settings, enable group metrics collection within. No. So CloudWatch, if you connect, it will monitor, it will charge you.
We can create attach a new load balancer.
Oh, like load balancer concept has to be first cleared. So it's a separate lab we're going to do with load balancer. So otherwise, it's going to go till 11 or 12 o'clock class. And yeah, so I have to close at 10. I need to go in the morning. In fact, I was thinking of putting this class at 6 to 9 instead of 7 to 10. Otherwise, it goes too late night. Yeah, right now, yes, Node Balancer is a separate lab. It has a lot of features of its own that needs to be understood first. Right now, Autoscale is without Node Balancer to test Autoscale itself. Next, desired capacity. So specify the size of the autoscaling group by changing the desired capacity. You can also specify minimum and maximum capacity limits. The desired capacity must be within the limit range. So what it says is, what is the desired capacity? At least one machine. I'm saying desired capacity is minimum at least 2 machines. This is what I desire. Minimum also. Minimum create 2 machines. Thank you very much. Maximum go to, I'll just put 5 machines. That go to 5 machines if threshold is breached. Right, then multiply and keep going more. Scaling policies, target tracking scaling policy. Choose whether to use scaling policy to dynamically resize your auto scaling group to meet changes in demand. So there's a scaling policy here. So what is which CPU utilization? So I'm saying that, hey, if CPU utilization is breached by this percent, then create another machine. Right? We can go with if this much average network inbound traffic is this much bytes, then create another machine, or outbound traffic is this much bytes, then create another machine, or application load balancer request count per target. How many requests came to load balancer? If that much requests are reached, then create another virtual machine. So we're going to go for the easiest one that will tell us right away that auto scaling works. So I'm going to go for CPU utilization. But I will put it to worst number 10. This means that 10% CPU is used to create another machine. And remember that we have Windows 2022. Just for starting Windows, it will need more than 10% CPU. So it will breach the 10% mark. And then we should see that it should just create another virtual machine. So that would prove that autoscaling works. If I put it 75 or 80% here, then I have to create a lot of traffic, maybe start a lot of pages, YouTube pages, and whenever it reaches 75%, then we'll be able to see another machine created. So we don't have that kind of traffic. Yes, there are some scripts and software, but this is also an easier way to really get the result faster, that make the percentage less or threshold very less. It will breach anyway, and we will see that another machine gets created automatically.
So when the new machine created, there is no charge for it?
Yes, there will be. So yeah, one T2 micro, there will be, that's why I'm targeting 5, but if it creates a third machine automatically, we will prove our point and I'm going to delete everything. But yes, it will charge if it goes more.
Because if we put the target is 10, like 10% of usage. So
Yeah,
it
so
create the new one. So the cost is high. The cost optimization is higher.
like
It's like
what cost?
50%. I saw the 50%. Mostly they use 50%.
Yeah. So, but we for our lab proof, we don't want to go for 50%. Even I'm gonna decrease it to 5%. So it could reach sooner that threshold, and another machine could get created sooner. So I could prove, hey, autoscaling works, right? So we can change that target to anything. Okay, instance needed 300 seconds warm up before including in metric. So every 300 seconds, it will take 300 seconds for the monitoring to connect to the newly created machine to start reporting about the newly created machine. So it's just saying that it takes new machine takes time to start, to get created first and then start. So it's giving that much time. Then the monitoring will start on that new machine. They will scale in to create only scale out policy. So if you don't want scale in, I already have a ridiculous threshold here. So scale in threshold I won't be able to give. Even if I try to give 5%, it's never going to reach 5% because Windows just for loading is this much. So scale out simply proves that autoscaling works. It's a scale in protection. So suppose you do want to go for scale in protection, then you can enable that. I want to prove with scale out that, hey, it works. Then obviously if it's with scale out it works, then you can also play with the scale in when you're doing your lab. Next. And notification optional. So yeah, if you want to add this is another service in a production environment, they will charge you for this service, that it's gonna just notify you. Simple notification service, SNS. Simple notification service. So it just simply emails you, oh, another machine created, and then or text you whatever you want to set up. So I'm just gonna go for skip to, or I'm gonna click next. Tags, no. Just okay, review, that's it. So for launch template configurations that I've given it, I'm expecting 2 EC2 instances to be created now. And because the threshold is so low, I'm expecting a third machine to be created automatically as well. So I click create scaling group. Okay, desired capacity 2, minimum 2, maximum 5, US East 1A, that's what it shows. I'm going to go to the autoscaling itself, and then I'm going to go for the how many instances have been created. So I'm going to go activity, create notification. I didn't create notification, automatic scaling. I'm going to go there, target tracking. And where are the machines supposed to see? I'm going to go to EC2 itself, but within that, there you go, instance management. So 2 machines got created already because I said minimum capacity is 2. Please create 2 for me. Now we can even check auto scaling that we're told it autoscaling, we told autoscaling that, hey, minimum, always there has to be 2 EC2 instances. Suppose I delete one of the 2, then it's gonna automatically create another one because it is told minimum 2 must be there all the time. It's gonna maintain whatever is the desired capacity and minimum. It's gonna maintain that. So that's pretty cool. But what I'm expecting is if it goes for third machine, then yeah, this means that the 10% CPU has been breached already, and then it is creating a third machine or fourth machine. So it does take time. It's something that we're relying on the process. Also, there's one more thing here that you can change the auto scaling configurations as well anytime you want. So the example of Best Buy, that they saw that they put the limit, suppose 100, right? But then they saw that instead of 100,000, there are 200,000 this year users are connecting. So that's a lot. And they have set up 200 machines. So they can change it to 200 machines as well anytime. And then it will keep on growing again. But then if they see that, oh, now it's down to 50,000, so they can change maximum to whatever, or they can rely on the scale-in to delete that automatically. So you can change, even after you have configured everything in auto-scaling, you can change it to whatever number maximum you want, and scale-in you want to enable now. You can do it anytime. Oh, I'm sure it's going to charge. But the name of the game is no fear. When you do it, then you learn.
Where we can confirm the auto scaling is configured. There is any
Like if it becomes third machine, these are 2 instances here, right? This is machine number 1. This is machine number 2, right? So when third machine comes automatically here appears, this means auto scaling is working. Or you can simply delete this one machine here, and then we're expecting that it's going to automatically create another one here because it needs to keep the 2 number of machines always here.
So we can change the 2% with the
there you go. There you go. So now it's 4 machines automatically. 2 are pending right now. 2 are in service, which the 2 were in the service. The other 2 just appeared now because when you start Windows, for 10%, Windows for its starting needs more than 10% CPU. So it already breached the CPU and it created 2 extra machines.
Okay.
Yay! It works.
So the pending will be stay there unless we need this.
No, like it's gonna start working as proper working machines. I mean, if there were user connecting here, once the machine starts, well, it will be soon in the service. It's just being created and starting. That's why it's saying pending. After some, yeah, they're all in service now.
Takes about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. So once the threshold is breached, auto scaling simply creates a copy, and if it keeps on breaching, it keeps on creating more copies here. Right.
So in the interview, every interview they ask auto scaling.
Well, if they want to, they will. Autoscale is a very critical feature, so yes, you should know that how it works, and it's better to do it yourself 3 or 4 times, and then it will always be in
On
your
each
mind.
interview, they ask you what is the difference between auto scaling and the load balancer or the load balancer or
No, they're totally different features. So if there was a nearly comparative features, or then they would say a difference. What is load balancing, or how autoscaling works, or have you done it? And okay, please tell us what it is. If you've done the lab, you can start explaining one by one. First, we create launch template, and then we create autoscaling group, and then we simply put the autoscaling values, and then so start explaining. So if you've done the lab, you can do that.
third step is load balancer.
So load balancer is a third step, yes, but here, yes, we will have a separate lab for that class.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, so this is it, and it's already 10:05, and autoscaling works, so we're gonna start deleting now. And one more,
Deleting is the most important part.
yes, that is the most important. Yep.
Talking about the next class, you had said that you're not going to be available on Saturday. Is that correct?
Yes, so this Saturday I have to go out of town. So we're gonna be connecting now this Tuesday, coming Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Cool. So welcome, and please everyone repeat all the labs from scratch.
So it's already got it, sir?
It's all definitely recording in progress. Thank God. Yes, it is
Yeah.
recording. So it covers the previous lab, but newer things as well. That's good.
So
Okay,
when it is
guys.
available?
Yeah.
To
It's gonna be available tonight or tomorrow anytime. I'll just upload that. If it's not there by tomorrow, then just message on the WhatsApp group where servers the video for the last class.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Guys, so there's one how to delete the auto scaling. That's also pretty interesting. You delete just the auto scaling itself, and it deletes pretty much everything related to auto scaling. Right? So I'm gonna just delete the auto scaling name here, unless it has some kind of restriction. So it just says type the delete, and we're gonna delete this. So it deletes. Suppose there were 200 machines, 2,000 machines. It simply deletes everything under this umbrella, auto scaling. That's one thing. But we created some certain other machines. Also, I need to show you here instances. All the machines created there also show in the instances console, obviously, as well. But yes, they are shutting down because auto scaling is being deleted, so it's deleting everything under it. All those other machines are also shutting down. I haven't deleted the other two with which we have done more interesting labs. I'm gonna select those two, and oh yeah, I have to remove the termination. I think I again put it there. Although, I should not put that because I explained that before already. Change current specification. Morning for upload the class. Shardin says I will message
You
you.
choose
Yes,
one by
sure, sir.
one?
But I wanted to change that. Yes, it seems like yes, termination protection is not available when there are two. Maybe one of them has this, another one doesn't. Otherwise, normally, suppose you have 200 machines with termination protection. We cannot go one by one then. So it might be that one of them had been like this. The other one I did not put termination protection. I disabled termination protection, so now I can delete it. So maybe I can still check it out. Now can I boot? Oh yeah, it is one by one. Seriously, okay. I have to go termination protection here. It's not good. Suppose we have 200 machines, then what do we do? We're gonna switch to CLI. Give commands. Two machines. Instance. There's terminate instance for two machines. And yeah, release attached EIP. Yes. Which are not associated with an instance will incur an hourly cost. Yeah. Hey, is it gonna release? Okay, I'm just gonna terminate. Yes, last time we knew that it does not release the IP. Okay, remote desktop disconnected. So yeah, machines are deleting now. It will be deleted as well, and the other machines are terminated. What else we had? Launch templates. I'm gonna go there. Yes, there's a launch template. So yeah, it did not delete launch template. We have to delete it ourselves. Launch template, delete. Done. Stop request, reserved instances. We still have to go through all this as well. Might as well. Volume. Okay, nothing in the volume. Are you kidding me? I'm sure that's gonna be deleted, but how about I just, since I'm here, because the machines were still in the process of deleting. Yeah, they were in the process of deleting anyway. Snapshots and snapshots, no. Lifecycle manager, we're going to be still visiting that. Security groups. Yes, we have a lot. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Not the default one. Not the default one. Sometimes we learn the hard way. Confirm, enter, delete. Type delete. Okay, what else? Elastic IPs. Release. Okay, release. Please deletes it. Okay, what else? Placement groups, we didn't do that yet. Key pairs, yeah, we have key pairs here. Delete. Now, this is a very bad idea to do that in the production environment. Unless you're sure you're not going to use that key pair, better not delete it because they don't charge. Key pairs don't charge. Network interfaces. Nothing. Professor, yeah, still an upcoming lab. Other groups, upcoming lab. Launch configurations, nothing. Auto-scaling groups, gone. Okay, now we're in, but we need to check instances. Yeah, if it says terminated, now we're good. This side as well. So we're all good. See you next Tuesday, and please do repeat all the labs again and again, even 2 times. Okay, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great night. Thank you. Oh, you also have a great night. Sorry. Okay. So.